should be. Welcome back to Eagle Spire Gaming. I'm your host. This is not the exact angle I wanted. I thought I zoomed in on this. Okay, there we go. Now we're set. Let's just set this up for you. Perfect. How are we doing today? I am doing good or as well. What's up, Toby? I finally got it set. I'm ready at the right time, as opposed to all the constant issues with technical difficulties where I have to restart the stream and do it all over again. So this is fantastic. And as ready as I am, evening Scott, how you doing today? As ready as I am, I'm not ready because I have no idea how we are going to be painting this today. This beautiful thing. James, good seeing you. Looking forward to this weekend. So I have an idea. And it's going to require that I shake this thing a whole bunch. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up for me, guys. I appreciate it. Keep the comments and the questions coming. What are we all up to? How was everybody's weekend? A longer weekend, so not nearly long enough. And let me know if the music's too loud. I have it very loud for myself. I think you can't hear it if I don't have it fairly loud. This whole thing is like my painting space. It's a bit of a mess. Maybe if we move the mouse away, we don't need that. You bought it. What'd you get? What'd you end up going with? Starter set, my guess. This. I was about to drink this. About to drink my paint water. Pretty clean though. Wouldn't be that bad. Probably drink worse. Okay, so I don't know if this is a big enough brush. Let's use this thing. This thing is like blowing up. Yeah, welcome to the Legions Imperialis family. We're family. I have so much of these. People have been asking me, when am I going to paint my terrain? And I feel like I'm cheating because this isn't, as much as this is terrain, I don't really need to paint this part to have my terrain done because I could just use the tiles, right? I could just use the tiles. That is not much of a difference. But it will darken it up, don't worry. Just the start. I could just leave I use the mat, right? And then I could just keep doing that, keep using the mat, leaving the tiles undone, and then I could come back and do that later after I have the actual structures and everything done. Because as it is, it's only going to be, I'm still not going to have the tiles, the buildings done. But I primed the tiles a while ago because it was easy to do. And because I'm, I have no plans of any more tiles until they make other tiles that have a different appearance to them. So until they do that, these are good. This is done. I can paint all of these now, and go systematically one thing to the next, and do that with buildings if I haven't gotten all the buildings in the have. So yeah, let's see here. Starter setting some Bane Blades for you and Kratos for your son. Yeah, I remember you saying that. A good start. What legion? What legion is he gonna do? I think you'd already told me that too, but I forget. Board is pretty sick. I like boards with a bit of texture. Yeah, it's nice. This isn't my first time painting a board from Games Workshop. I have the Realm of Battle Sector Imperialis, I think it's called, or something. It's like these, but it's 6 tiles. They're 2x2. There's a lot more detail going on with them, and it's 3 different. Instead of it being, I think it's 2 different tiles. I think there's 2 different, like there's 3 different tiles that you get 2 each of. You get No, it's 3 different tiles. In this game, it's 2 different tiles, and you get 3 of each tile. And in for 28 millimeter, it's 3 different tiles, and you get 2 of each. Did I say that wrong? 2 tiles that you get 3 of for this. 3 tiles that you get 2 of for the bigger one. It's still 2 tiles. It's like 2 T sections and 4 straight sections, but the 2 T sections are different. Cherry Blossom paint is amazing for terrain and a whole lot cheaper. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of Cherry Blossom paint. You're doing Space Wolves. You're going Trader Solar. Space Wolves are fun. If I finish, I'm never going to finish painting these in time for your son to see what I'm going to do with my Space Wolves. But I'm going to paint some Space Wolves. But maybe after I do my Space Wolves, it'll inspire you to get more Space Wolves for your son, so he can try what I'm going to do. So I think what I'm going to do is I've got this. I got this street. I think I got it nice and covered. I think how we're going to start is I'm just going to do that, and then I will make sure I get those gutters too. And I'm going to set it to the side. Now, the unfortunate thing is I am, these guys, right? The base for these guys is the textures, the pattern on it is on that tile, right? Somewhere on that tile, this is. And I will show you exactly where this is on the tile. So this bit here, I see how I can do this. You see that? Well, that's right here. That's right here. That's this bit, right? So if you put this guy right there, it's actually not a 1-to-1 fit because that doesn't line up, but somewhere there you go, right there. They match, right? And the unfortunate thing is how I painted my bases isn't how I want to paint my tiles. So I got to do them a little bit differently. And that kind of upsets me just a little bit. That obsession to have that need for perfection. I kind of want it to look perfect and everything. But we can't have that. So we're just gonna paint it. Just gonna go. I want to have I want this darker and I want this lighter. Darker than it currently is, lighter than it currently is. And if I have that, I will be happy. So yeah, share your terrain ideas, share your armies, talk about whatever. I will try to answer. Also have the Sector Imperialis board. So glad you got it before they discontinued. Oh, you're talking about the other one. I was about to say, did they discontinue this already? I am so mad at myself, Mini Creative. I had an opportunity. This was like at the start of 8th edition, and I just gotten and painted mine, and the local GW, there was a local GW that had recently opened up for something. I don't know, the new management, I don't remember, but they were doing a painting competition, and they're like, "Hey, have a diorama, have your army, little 500-point army diorama or something." And the store owner, I showed him the picture. I don't remember how it goes, but for whatever reason, he's like, "Yeah, I got some of the Sector Imperialis tiles, and I'll give you a tile, and you can use that for your diorama." I should have said yes. My dumb noggin was like, "No, man, I just painted that thing. That was a lot of work. I don't want to do that again right now." And I said, "No, I should have gotten the free tile. What was I thinking? Oh my goodness!" Because what I could have done is I could have cut it up and used it for basing or something. I could have made some craters out of it. Yeah, I could have used pieces and parts of it for stuff. Oh, I turned down free material. You know what it would cost me? Nothing. Of course, you know what it would have cost me. I've already been saying it. Free. Homebrew trader, yes, homebrew trader. And I got a homebrew loyalist and a homebrew trader. Let me turn off that ad. Skip. That's a university. Yeah. I use Trackle Paint yet. I have not. You'll be unable our accent. We'll be learning in the background. Awesome. Thanks, David. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I see 70 of you in here. I see 2 thumbs up. What gives? I gotta tell jokes. Oh, what was it I was doing yesterday? I was at the store. I don't remember him. Oh, his dad. His dad's a customer that's in there all the time. Or probably his granddad, actually. He's in there all the time. Hey, Legio Mortis. His dad's in there all the time, shipping stuff off. And we banter. We talk back and forth, right? And he tells his grandson, he says, this guy, I don't always has jokes. I told some jokes. My pirate jokes. Just a couple of them. You guys know what a pirate's favorite letter is? Rain. Oh, you're doing yours as well? Awesome. Oh, wait. No, I've seen yours. I saw yours. I was like, I'll be painting mine soon, too. I don't know if I said that out loud, though. I really just thought it internally. You guys over the water have Games Workshop stores, or are they just local game stores? We have stores over here, and we have GW stores. It's how I got into Games Workshop or into wargaming. One day back when I was like 9, maybe 10, maybe close to 10, there was one in the mall, and my dad, we were walking the mall, and it was a big store, bigger than this room, and they had like 2 or 3 tables set up where you could play. My first game of Warhammer ever was Warhammer: The Old World, before it was called The Old World. Me versus my brother, who was 8 or 7. He was Bretonians and I was Lizardmen. And the store owner was explaining the rules and was like, we probably had like 2 units each or something. How the Bretonians want the water source, but my lizard people, we need the water for our spawning pools, and but the Bretonians, they don't want their water getting all gunked up by our lizard people, and I'm worried if I set this down, I'm going to end up where's my carpet? So we're fighting, and so. Played against my brother. I think I beat him pretty handily. We go back sometime later. Next time we go there, it's 3rd edition Black Templars versus Eldar. It's the 3rd edition box that they have, and so we duke it out again. And this time, I've got like 2 squads of Space Marines, 2 5-man squads of Space Marines, and a land speeder. And one squad has like a flamethrower, and one squad has a missile launcher. So you can't split fire back then. So, and he's got like a 20-man unit of warriors and like a transport thing, Dark Eldar transport thing. I don't know. And I'm trying to shoot missiles at this thing, but I can't shoot the bolt guns at it because then they don't do anything back then. So I'm just like not able to really stop him from doing anything. And this time we got to get the fuel source, which is in the middle. So ours are the stock. I haven't been to one in a while because we don't have any where I am. We don't have any official ones where I am. The last time I went to official one was in California, so 3 to 4 years ago. It was well stocked though, and they were doing painting competitions. Not the same one as this, but it's a lot smaller. They're getting rid of their tables. They used to have tables that you could play at. Not much. You can't play much at a GW store here in America, but you could play some. I think you guys can't play at all in your stores now. I think they made them even smaller. Need to get me a bigger brush. Those roads are going to take forever. But this is a pretty big brush, man. This is the size of my thumb. It is, yeah, probably going to take a while. It's also going to take a while because I'm going to get distracted in chat. I probably should have set up some sort of paper towel under this as I'm painting over the edge. Yeah. So I loved it, man. I loved it. I got my butt kicked by my brother. I got my butt kicked by me. There's one in Fayetteville. I drove 2.5 hours to Fayetteville so that I could try to get the Legion Imperialis. Shortly after the game came out, they had that go in for the free mini of the month, and it was a rhino, and I was like, I need that rhino, so I went up there to get it, and we drove to the park while we were up there. The dude had to open up a box and just cut it out. So I drove back. When I stopped the car or whatever, I looked at my model and I was like, dude, this is just, he put the wrong pieces. I've got two of the top pieces and nothing of the bottom. Like I've got two tops where I'm supposed to have a bottom and a top or something like that, right? And so I go back. He didn't know what to clip. He didn't have it pre-clipped. He just had it. So I go back, and he's like, "Here, just take the whole box. Nobody's coming. Nobody's asked for this thing. Just take the whole box." So they gave me so I got all 10 of them. And then that year, my wife got me a box of rhinos, my in-laws got me a box of rhinos, and my parents got me a box of rhinos. So I have 40 rhinos, and that's far too many rhinos for any normal-sized game of Legions Imperialis. But by God, we're going to use them at some point. Painting tiles, I'm doing them as well. Hello, yes, the Discord, yeah. Are you going to... We need to get you a bigger deal. Last board I did basing with a 3-inch wide. I'm not going to be able to stick this in the paint pot if I get too big of a brush. No, it's not the same anymore. Only demo tables showing the starter sets. Yeah, and I've seen that too. Even then, like it's from a business standpoint. Well, does it even make sense? On one hand, if you have a place where people can play the game, then you have a place where people can play the game and then they want to buy more stuff. FLGSs host lots of different games. They have more table space. Like they typically, so they're trying to sell more stuff. And I don't know, like why does it work for them and not GW? Is it because GW is a big brand and they don't, if you're going to play it somewhere else, who cares? Like, are there places where there's got to be places where it makes more sense to have that store where people can play? Like, if there's no stores there and there's a market for it, then you might as well have a store big enough for people to play. Because if people don't have a way to play, they're not going to play at all, and then they're not going to buy. Growing independence other than that, Warhammer World standard Warhammer shops tend not to have more than a core box of anything that isn't Sigma or 40K. Yeah, and maybe last I was there, maybe there was a little. I've seen a little bit of like Lord of the Rings stuff. They had Aeronautica. In fact, that one store that I was telling you about, where the guy was gonna give me the tile, and this was back in like 17, 18, maybe 19. And he was saying, oh yeah, we, the U.S. single-handedly saved Aeronautica because they were going to get rid of it. Hey, buddy, they were going to get rid of it, but they ended up not. You guys stayed back right there. What's up? I'm filming. You guys are going, ooh, that's cool. Where'd you get that? Okay, cool. When did you get it? Just now? It come in the mail or something? Okay. Cool. Catch you later, buddy. So yeah, they what was I saying? They did something words, numbers. Oh yeah, they were saying that they saved Aeronautica by having a lot of sales and stuff. I mean, in the end, as we can see, Aeronautica's dead, so they didn't save it; they only delayed it. But he was proud of himself. He was like, "Oh yeah, me and a couple other guys, we sold a whole bunch of this stuff." And they were going to get rid of it in the U.S. and then they decided not to because we had a corporate meeting or whatever, and they were telling us like, "Hey, you guys do really good with these sales." I'm happy for the guy. Glad he had that moment, but they didn't save Aeronautica. Unless Aeronautica just had to be shoved aside to make way for Legions Imperialis. I like how they did that though. They made these specialty games that are just focused on Titans and just focused on aircraft, and they said, "Hey, can we make this where we have a whole game for everything?" Yes, we can. Thank you for the salute, Francis. Francis. Francosis memory. I'm gonna mispronounce that a whole bunch. Most of the LGS is also still GW stuff at 20% discount. Yeah, I can't get that anywhere in the US. We don't have a 20% discount. I can get them online for like a 10 or 15% discount. The only time I've ever been to a store that gave a discount, they gave me a discount because the store owner liked me. I don't know if they gave everyone else a discount. Is it possible the store owner said that they said that to everybody? Sure, but I was one of 4 people in her D&D group, so I don't think it was an everybody thing. I think it was a couple of people. And they went out of business because work was too much for them, or maybe other reasons. I don't know. I feel like the vibe I was getting was she didn't like the job. She didn't like owning the store. Not to speak for them, Yeah. You were saying you need to tape "Do Not Cross." I do need to. I didn't say that, but I do need that. You put words in my mouth, but they're accurate. It feels like the first tile went so much quicker, and each tile after that is it's the consistency hasn't been the same. Either too much water or not enough. And I had it just right the first time. In Germany, we have a store with a 55% sale because Allied don't run as well at this time. Yeah, it's exciting when you see such a big sale, but it's also like demoralizing too because it's like, oh geez, so I guess we won't be getting. I guess I won't be getting this from the store anymore because you guys aren't going to continue to stock it because nobody's buying it. I have a store near me. You're in Virginia, and there's a store here that does buy one get one 40% off. So basically 20% off if you get 2 things that are the same price. It used to be 50% and great. Jesus, that is a good deal. We're in Virginia. I'm from Virginia. I'm not there currently. I recently was up there and there's a store that I was looking at and I was like, dude, your shelves are empty. What the hell? They had a bunch of like ramen and like food stuff. And he was like, yeah, we want to get more stuff. And come to find out, my dad was saying that this place had been open for a while. Come to find out, it's been open for like 3 months. They'd opened it up where where I used to do like martial arts and stuff, which is wild because they added a whole bunch of walls to it since then. Cheap artist acrylic paints are much cheaper than using GW paints. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's cheaper. There's a lot of cheaper ways to do this. I'll probably run this paint bottle pretty dry by the end of this. Pretty dry indeed. I think I'm gonna not use contrast on this. Baba Hero is the store. Northern Virginia near DC, Dulles Mall specifically. Dulles has a mall. So I was from Alexandria, so I'm familiar with Dulles, the airport, and I guess it's also a city. I never paid too much attention to that part. I was on the way to Leesburg, where we go play paintball. There's a Springfield Mall out that direction. We've always called it the Springfield Mall. Is it not the Springfield Mall? mean, yeah, real close to near the airport. Okay, cool. Airbrush before as well. Eat the primer. I'll never do it again. You tried to airbrush primer and it failed. Sure, I can move this. I don't have good access to the mouse. Every time a commercial comes on, I gotta hit skip real quick. We're an apple barrel by 100%. So we're in the coat. New Titans are what the redact your question. I'm gonna wait to see if you're rephrasing it. Now, so to finish my story that I was telling you about Warhammer stores and my first experience with them. Yeah, so that Christmas, I was either turning 10 shortly after that or I was 10 on that Christmas, which would mean I was almost 11. But my grandparents got me the big, like a second edition starter box because it just had a bunch of Space Marines that were push fit, like body in, gun in, backpack on, done, and orcs with like one orc leader and a bunch of Gretchen. And that, no, there was more orcs. There's more orcs and a bunch of Gretchen, but they were all like push fit. And the Gretchens were just like these little dudes with pointy hats and a gun that looked like it was from Fallout. What am I painting the raised areas? This section, I don't know yet. We are flying by the seat of our pants here. I have no idea what we're doing. What do I think of this about the new Titans and weapons? Are you asking what do I think about the models or what do I think about the release? Because those are two different things, right? And I want to answer the right question. But as far as the models go, I'm excited that we are getting the. I'm excited that we're getting these weapons that only existed in resin previously and had run out in resin. I actually had the. I wanted one of those and I had to buy it off the internet, third party, because they didn't sell it anymore. And I was tired of waiting. I've got a macro Gatling cannon on my Sinister, and I had to get this third party one because W wasn't making it at the time, and so I'm glad they got them. I don't know how I'm going to use any of them. I don't really. I'm looking at the weapon combination. Nothing's really stuck out to me yet. I need to put more thought into it. But like, Sidewalk says Jade Marble. That sounds good. Probably. I didn't start with second edition though. I didn't place. This was third edition was out at the time. I don't know how they got the second edition box. They also got me a big box of all paints. It was like the entire Citadel range, which back then was much cheaper than if you tried to do that now. You could not do that, but it came with like the basing material. It came with the little green flock, and it came with a little bit of rubble, and it came with this. And I still have this for some reason. Came with this thing. I still have this. I don't know if it works anymore. I think I've used it in the past though. And it's wild that that's up there. Yeah. Summer 86 for you just turned 40. Big boxes. First big box is 99 edition. Okay. Yeah, so I'm 2 years younger than you. Almost 2 years, almost a full 2 years, because I'm winter. The part of winter that's actually at the beginning of the year as opposed to the end of the year. Yeah, I don't know how I want to use any of those weapons. I've been thinking, one idea that comes to mind is that Volkite, would look really cool next to the claw and would make it really good against infantry. But at the same time, um, then you've only got the ability to kill infantry, and it's like, oh, that's kind of not great for a Titan, right? Like a Titan should be able to, a Titan should, a Titan of that size should be able to deal with Titans, and while yes, you can deal with Titans if you punch them with a giant claw, the size of a tank. I don't really think it's reliable to do damage that way because of how slow it is. Um, I still kind of want to build that. I want to build that claw, but I don't. I don't know what gun to give alongside it because anytime you're using the claw, you can't use a gun, and anytime, like it's kind of terrible. Maybe they'll change the rules in a second edition. I think that would be really good. I'm thinking the light gray for the raised portions though. Answering two questions at the same time here, having two conversations at the same time. I appreciate it. Yeah, the conversion beamer. I like the conversion beamer, but they need to change. They need to make the rules better for it because each gun gets better on a new platform, right? The conversion beamer on a Warhound can't be the same conversion beamer on the Reaver arm, and Reaver arm conversion beamer can't be the same conversion beamer as the one on the Warlord, and the one on the Warlord is only 1 point stronger, is only one shot better than the one on a Warhound. So there's no space in between them to have a middle ground. So they have to upgrade the bigger one. Either make it have more range or something. It can't be what it is. It needs to be better. You only use them to fight to shout fire the Ursus. Man, I think there's a bunch of dust on these things, and I'm now inhaling it. I've had these sitting around for a minute. I think I primed these back in January. It was very important that I be able to prime. There was a good day of weather where I was like, I need to prime these, and it was very important that I do it before like we were planning on packing up and going somewhere. And I had to like, get it done real quick. Agree, Gray looks good. You can rock the Ursus Spawn Warhound. The Ursus Spawn Warhound's trash. Oh, you got the starter kit. You get the starter kit, and the starter kit comes with the melta gun or the melta. What is it? What is it called here? Give me a second. Warhound hunting bag. You have the Ursus Claw, the Incisor Pattern Melta Lance, the Shutter Missiles. Well, it's Swarmer Missiles or Shutter Missiles, and the Volkite Eradicator. And you've got and then Matrix Shock Lance. Let me tell you, you get to use you get two of each of those, and they double Swarmer Missiles is good for trying to clear aircraft, which you don't have to deal with right now. And it's good long range anti infantry. It's basically a Vulcan Mega Bolter that's got more range but less shots. So up close, the Vulcan Mega Bolter is superior because you get two extra shots. The Shutter Missiles are terrible. Use the Swarmer Missiles. It's just Barrage is nice on the Titan, right? But it's only two shots on a Titan, and it's just kind of not that much, right? So what you might want to do is hold off on. First, are you going to magnetize them? If you're going to magnetize them, it doesn't matter. If you're not going to magnetize them, if you're like me and for whatever reason you have an aversion to magnets, developed through the fact that the magnets never seem to stick, and I just gave up on them. Um, then you might want to buy the other Titan kit, the other Warhound kit, and then you'll have And then you'll have the Vulcan Mega Bolters, the Plasma Blast Guns, and the Turbo Lasers, and the Flamethrowers. Now, I have 3 Warhounds so far: Plasma Blast Gun and Vulcan Mega Bolter. Nice Titan, capable of dealing with swarms, capable of dealing with void shields through both of those through the Vulcan Mega Bolter, capable of taking out tanks with the Plasma Blast Gun, close range. I have a second Titan, basically the same thing, but long range, because it's the Turbo Laser Destroyer and the Swarmer Missiles. Those are the same things as the Plasma Blast Gun and the Vulcan Mega Bolter, but with longer range. Turbo Laser has accurate, but it only has 2 shots, as opposed to Plasma Blast Gun has 3 shots, but shorter range. 3 shots and hits on a 3 instead of a 4. So that's one option that you can build with by getting the second box, right? And that would actually allow you to build 2 Titans for you and 2 Titans for him in both of those loadouts, because you get 2 guns per kit. Another Titan I have is double Volkites, and that is because Volkites aren't bad if you can line them up right. If you can line them up right, which the Warhound has to do, you can get a lot of hits. You get 9 hits with them across 3 units. That's pretty good. But you need to be able to move fast with that. And if you're trying to get such perfect positioning with your Titan, you might as well do it on 2 guns instead of on 1 gun. So that's why I have a dual Volkite gun. You also go Volkite Flamethrower, and that way, your both guns want to be close, but they want to be close in different ways. So I wouldn't really, I don't like that one as much, personally. It could work. Dual Meltas could be fun, but then you're so close range. And when it comes to shooting other Titans, you need somebody else to get rid of the void shields for you. I guess if you get 3 hits, but then the Melta Lance doesn't have. If you get 3 hits against a Warhound, you get rid of its shields and you do 1 hit to it. But the problem is it's only Engine Killer 2, so you do 3 wounds to that Warhound. You need 2 hits to kill it, and you actually only have 1 shot with both of those guns, so you can't get 3 hits. So I think the Melta Lance is just not a great weapon for a. Considering it's a Titan and what you are expecting to get from it, the ability to kill a single, mind you, against all the super heavies that have 3 wounds, maybe it's a better gun now. But still, you have to get within 6 inches to get that Engine Killer 3. And again, only one dice. So hitting on 3s. It does have accurate. But 6-inch range, God, that is close range. Like, you're spending a turn or 2. You're spending at least a turn, probably 2 turns to try to get in range for that for Engine Killer 2 to go off. But if you know your opponent has super heavies, that could be good. How does a Rhino? Ooh, a 40K Rhino? It just overlaps. Overlaps on both sides. I just so happen to have a Rhino sitting next to me. Let's see. You have, come on. 5 Warhammer. Oh, I was not reading things. Nothing cooler than backhanding your Titan's face off and barbecuing the pilot with a flamer. You have 5 Warhounds for your Canis Light Maniple for your Legiotics, and was thinking of running one with them. Do it. That is a good reason to do them, but not good in either. Oh, you're talking about that weapon still. Rushing to get models built and primed for the spring. That was a success. Now you have Armageddon and the weather, so 2 all for prime outside. Yeah, the weather is just too hot. Oh, your son is doing so. See, when I saw you say that, I thought you were saying Solar Auxiliary. You've magnetized all your Warhounds. You bought the Warhound kits as you started them with AT. I answered the Rhino question. Good way for that Warhound is 4 AT box. Oh yeah, yeah, I've got that. That's a good box right here. It comes with some terrain too that I look forward to getting to at some point. 2 AT starter sets. Man, I was hoping the road would be big enough for a back alley and a 40K table. Too small. Yeah, too small for a Rhino. The other thing is the sidewalks are smaller too. I mean, maybe a Rhino shouldn't be fitting down a back alley. I need to look at these new 11th edition rules. Ah, broke my brush. I need to look at the 11th edition rules and see how I'm supposed to be playing that. But I'll just focus on this. What's up? Hey, Crayola.
Hello. Do you have a tape
measure? Over there. You got to cross the live stream and you're wearing pajamas instead of actual pants. Hey, don't cross this line, buddy.
Don't cross that line.
Don't be suspicious. So, I am looking forward to the big battle that I got coming up for you guys. We have not started filming yet. I'm going to try and film it today. I'm going to try to start today. Unfortunately, trying to get 3 people, not including myself, so trying to get 4 people total to line up and schedule so that they can have a couple of hours to play a turn, just is not very easy to do. Let me tell you, that board looks awesome. One day, all the buildings will be painted too, and that'll be really good. Like 10th edition, 7th edition was way better. You know, 7th edition almost killed the hobby, right? Or so I've been told. I played a little bit of 7th edition, and I can see why people would say that. I guess it has some diehard fans. Sticking with 10th edition, 40K, not as keen on the hero character focus. I mean, with that in mind, like you're trying to avoid the heroes and everything. I don't know. Is 11th edition really big on heroes? 8th or 9th is a good. I think is a good addition without the hero crafting stuff. The hero stuff. I don't know what to call it, so I'm just saying a whole bunch. 2nd edition and 7th edition are the best editions ever made. I think Legions Imperialis is the best edition ever made. But I'm a little biased on that. Why am I biased on that, though? Am I biased on that? Or am I just a fan of it? And I'd be biased on it if I'm not like directly benefiting from it. I do kind of wish that these tiles, instead of it being 3 copies of 2 tiles, I wish there was some variance to this. Like if it was 6 individual tiles, because you have to buy more than 1 box just to make a playable table. So I got how many of these T sections? I've already done. Oh wait, there's 3 different tiles. There's 2 tiles. Okay, so it's 3 tiles of 2 for the big one, and it's 2 tiles, 3 different tiles twice for the little ones. 2nd edition closest to Necromunda, which you still enjoy. Not sure about the new announce for that. Apparently, it is hence the character focus on the Armageddon starter. Okay, I know that the I know characters have had a big role for a while. I don't know how long though. I miss when Warhammer was, here's your guy, here's your unit, they've got guns, maybe they've got an ability, and you use them. And then it was like, and I think 7th edition is to blame for this. The command points and the tactical stuff, and the not tactical stuff, but the command points and the stratagems and stuff. I think that's a 7th edition thing. And they're like, oh yeah, you can just now you've got these abilities, but you also have all these other abilities that you unlock through points, and you can use them throughout the game. And they got rid of those kind of with 10th edition. They really had a bad problem with command point stratagems and stuff in 8th and 9th, right? Where every book would be like, here's 3 new pages of this stuff. But then they did they kind of toned it down a bit for 10th, I think. But it was still there, and they were like, oh hey, now all the units have their own ability that you can use in addition to that. It's like, well, that's just as bad. It didn't used to be that everybody had an ability. Some people had abilities. And like Space Marines. 3rd edition Space Marines, they didn't have an ability. They had stats, and that was it. Oh, and we're going to have to skip that commercial real quick. There we go. In addition, the issue with formations with broken rules like free transports for all Space Marine units. Yeah, but it wasn't just free transports for Space Marines. It was things like Chow. Some factions had like, oh, here's hundreds of points of free stuff, and some factions had nothing. If everybody's getting hundreds of points of free stuff, then it's okay. But if everybody's getting, but then at that point, it's like, oh, here's hundreds of points of free Riptides versus hundreds of points of free transports. Not quite equal. And points and strategy and just overcomplicate so much too. And I think it came from 7th edition or Armageddon or something, some combination of the two, because they had the Armageddon of 7th edition is the first time I saw like, oh yeah, you get these stratagems and you have command points and stuff, and you guys can decide which. I got to play like once or twice an actual Apocalypse game. Apocalypse, not Armageddon. Sorry guys. An Apocalypse game where it's like 3 players, each with like 3,000 points, and like one side's bringing Titans and another side's bringing Baneblades. That's the only time you'd ever see Baneblades, and it would be massive and like it took all day. It was like a DM for the game, like a whole one person was just specifically a lawyer, a rules lawyer, or something. I don't know. He would ask us like, hey, what strategies you want to use? You want to use this orbital cannon and just wipe out that side of the map? Yes, please. Running out of space to put these things. I got so many of them. Some of these are probably dry now, and I can probably lift them up. Yeah, the Space Marine one like required 100 models. I playing all GW games when they nuked your Space Wolves Codex before it was even released. What do you mean? They nuked it before it was released? Which edition was that? I played Space Wolves back in 3rd edition, and it was rough. Our Terminators cost more and didn't really do much else extra. A lot of our stuff cost more and didn't really do much extra. We had a whole rule section for what would happen if somebody was playing with Dark Angels. But at least we didn't have Santa Claus. I saw some of these tiles. I think it was yours. Somebody's got those tiles, and they already put like rubble and stuff to make them different. I could have done that. I think I wanted to do that, but I was worried that sliding around and stuff, it would like rub them off. I don't know how I'm going to ever transport and or store these things. You needed to field a whole company for most formations. I know the Deathwing formation is literally 10 squads of 10 Terminators. Jeez, that's a lot of Terminators. I remember somebody did I think it was a blog or something, and they had written about like you get 6 in a pack, but there's also the other box that gives you 2 in a pack, and it doesn't have streets. It has the raised platform. I don't remember what it's called though. Yeah, somebody did this. What do you call it? A write up or whatever, right? And it was battle of 300 Terminators against never-ending waves of 300 Terminators against never-ending waves of Tyranids. That was pretty cool. That was a cool read. Kind of the inspiration for the battle report that we're going to be doing this week. I don't know when that's going to be posted. It's not going to be posted this week. I hope that I can post it next week. Like I was saying, just hard to like herding cats trying to get everybody available to play. I'm available. Everyone's here and we can play now, but I'm doing the live stream. And then tomorrow, I'd be able to play tomorrow, but I've got a, like all afternoon tomorrow, but I've got a doctor's appointment. I got a physical therapy I got to go to, and then I got my yearly checkup, just all kinds of, and then Thursday I work in the afternoon, and then Friday I could play. So I guess we'll do Friday. Saturday I got a birthday party I'm going to, just stuff going on. Store them and transport them. Can you not just make a shelving system in the box? I could. I just have to make it. So I'll probably do that though. I am not that skilled at making boxes. I'll probably have to. It'll take some time. Take some time for me to figure that one out. I'll put effort into it. I can see my brush on this. I don't like it. I think these are going to need a second coat, and that's not cool. I can also kind of see the ring from where the bottom of these things is. So the rose by themselves like Necromunda tiles, or do you have to buy them with a bunch of them? No, you can buy them just the road, just a pack of a 6-pack of roads. It comes with 2 like this, 2 straight, and then 2 T intersections. What are the tiles called? I may need to find some. They are called Civitas Imperialis City Roads Tiles. Civitas Imperialis City Road Tiles. Roads Tiles. They are 12 inches by 12 inches. Oh, that was a lot of water I just added this to. That was more water than I thought it was. Looking for inspiration, I watched a video, and the guy doing it did like airbrushing. I don't have an airbrush. And he did something else, which I also don't have or even know what it was called. Kind of skimmed it a little bit. I was just like, dang, man. Just let me see how to do it. How are people doing this with the techniques I have available to me? You're welcome. There's also I don't remember their name, but like pillars or platforms or something. So you look for, they look like this. They look like this. So if you're looking up the tiles, if you just look up tiles, you'll probably find that as well. Probably Legions Imperialis Civitas tiles instead of road tiles. Alpha, welcome back. How you been? Haven't seen you all. And Evil Cuz. Trying to remember where I stopped, where I put the space in your name. Seen people use a sponge to add color and texture. Yeah, I'm going to use a sponge. That's a technique I'm able to do. I saw this guy had something and it was black, and he painted the entire thing on it. It's Evil Bunny or Battle Bunnies. If you want to look them up. I don't know how much they're doing with Legions Imperialis these days. This video is from like 2023. It's like when it first came out. Maybe it was 2024. I don't remember. But they did. Yeah, he covered the entire thing in this black, like ink or something, and then he was like polishing it and rubbing it and stuff. And as he would rub it, he would take off most of it, and then he ended up with, so he'd like rub it around here, but not at the very edges, and he'd get it to a nice texture density or whatever. And I don't know what that is, and I don't really want to go invest in whatever it is either, or potentially ruin my board because I start to do it and then don't do it right. It might have been an oil paint wash. Yeah, might have been an oil wash. It might be super easy to do too. I'm gonna try to do this without it. I'm trying to do this with what I have available. I have some old oils. Oil washes are pretty forgiving. Maybe I'll try it. We'll see. We'll see where we get with this. I tell you, his board looked really good at the end. I was watching the video and I saw him doing that. I was like, I don't have time for this crap. And then I fast forward to the end and I saw how good it looked. And I was like, oh man, that might be worth it. That might be worth it. I have had in my life some experiences where something that should have been very easy, where everything says, yes, this is easy, just do this. And I go to do it and it doesn't work that way. And I don't know why, and I can't figure out why. And so I have a bit of an aversion to new things I'm unfamiliar with. Like even how Duncan says, you guys know Duncan, he was the painter for Warhammer Community, where he made a bunch of videos painting with Duncan. He made his own paint line, which might be called Painting with Duncan. I don't remember. Two thin coats. He'd always say like, oh, use two thin coats. My thin coats apparently are always way too thin because I'm always needing more than two. Oil washes pretty forgiving. They take forever. They take an age to dry, though. You can always try it first on a test model. The thing is, this is my test model. What am I supposed? It's going to look completely different on a tiny model, you know. Especially the climate in the UK. Yeah, that's the other thing, man. This hot and muggy climate. It was so hot. I was only outside for a little bit today. This morning, it was morning still. I guess the sun was off though. But it was very, very uncomfortable. And I wasn't even doing too much outside. It was just very unpleasant to be out in. And I can see why priming is so bad. All right. Two thin coats for base paints. Some layer paints need many coats. That might be it. This is a layer coat. Duncan was an idiot. You thought he comes across very abrupt the way he talks. I I don't know. I can't speak too much to that. It's been a minute since I watched any of his videos. I think there were parts of his videos where I probably was like, dude, why don't you show me this? But I'm not really sure what exactly his whole thing was at GW anyway. Like, was he a part of the heavy metal team, or was it something else? I don't really know how any of that works. You work outdoors and can be very uncomfortable. Yeah. James probably isn't still in here anymore, but he works outdoors, and I don't know how, because he's not too far from me, and he is probably absolutely getting destroyed in this weather. A large plastic, lots of texture, large flat panels for your test model. And, I've seen some really cool things where it's like a tile, it's like a thing like this big, and it's got a bunch of different textures, like skeleton and armor and cloth and stuff. It looks like a pit filled with just bodies or something, like D&D stuff. Like throw in a bunch of different kinds of creatures, kinds of basically, essentially fabrics, different textures, essentially. And it's a test plate or something. That's a really cool idea. I like that. I could probably make my own with a bunch of the spare parts I have laying around. And then I have to like strip the paint off of it and stuff. Part of the army painting and presenter team. Oh, okay, so it's a different team from different team from the heavy metal team. Maybe same members, similar members. One of the go-to painters. I never understood why he stopped working for them. Maybe he found something better or something. I don't know. But I've definitely used a few of his painting techniques and stuff. So if you've seen it, there was the preview I did Saturday for the big battle coming up, and we haven't started playing it yet. I finished the Medusas, right? And the big battle is everything, all the loyalists versus all the traitors, right? So those Medusas are on the table. They are going to be playing in that game because it hasn't started yet. So turn one, they're getting activation orders. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of these tiles and this one to go. And I think I need a second coat on these streets. It's possible I don't need a second coat and that a wash and a dry brush will bring it all together, but I don't know. And I don't want to test that. I don't want to find out halfway through that I need to go back and give it more. What's going on? Hello? You're sounding like a bot. Yeah. Give me 1 second, guys. Phone call. I really thought that was a bot, and it turns out it's not. Yeah, like I said, you sound like a bot, and they assumed I meant like you're coming from robotic. They called and they said, "Hi, is this Crown?" Like that's how a robot would. That's how the automated tele messages say it, right? My assumption is that everyone around the world gets those calls. I might be the only one. I'm going to wash them to bring it. Yeah, I'm going to wash them. I'm going to wash them. I'm going to dry brush them. I haven't decided how bright I want this to be. I haven't decided if I want like this area to be different from this area, these two areas. I don't know. Um, and I don't know if I want this curvy bit to have like a gold trim to it. Maybe I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Okay, yeah, I could do that. Speak to the testing thing. So, Criminal does box art and it takes a long time. Army painters do like the box dioramas. Army do it. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Zuka did a pretty good video on how to use oil washes and also how not to. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Also look for some 3D printable terrain rollers to build your own. Um, man, there's a 3D printable. I think they also sell it. There's a terrain roller for like I've seen it. It was like cobblestone cobblestone road or something. All right, if you're in here right now, and if you've been in here a while, you've probably heard me say this, and you'll probably get annoyed of me continuing to say it. But if you're in here right now, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It lets YouTube know that they need to show the world all of my videos. And that brings more people in, and that should bring in more thumbs up. And like it's a never-ending feeding cycle of like supporting the channel, right? Imperial Eagle paint gold, and the rest sand color. Sand line if you feel you need to. Don't need to paint where the buildings go. Yeah, I don't need to paint where the buildings go, but the buildings won't always be where they go, right? Like there might not always be a building right here, or it might be a different size building. Like some or none of it may show up. You know what I mean? I kind of got to paint something, but I'm liking the idea. I'm liking the idea of the sand color, giving it kind of a bit of a brown. Because the buildings that I do, I want some of them are going to be green and red and maybe blue, maybe not blue. I'm not sure how well that'll look, but I want a bunch of them to be white, right? Like the white stone look, you know. I'm wondering if a somewhat sandy tan color. What about this? What about like this guy's fatigues? Let's bring up the light again. What about I go something like that? Not the brown parts, but like the actual tan part. Something like that, maybe. Because I could do that. It wouldn't be too hard. Uh, you had one call regarding your car accident. Get them online and talk about your decapitation. Oh wow, that's unfortunate. But you seem like you've made a full recovery from the decapitation. I had I don't know if other countries call it the IRS, but and maybe you don't. Um, but here in the states, your taxes get paid to the IRS, and forgive me for not knowing everything about everyone else. Um, so we used to have it a lot more, but it's toned down a lot. But we used to get IRS scam calls, and they would do they'd call you and they'd tell you, hey, you owe money to the IRS. That's a serious crime. Our office is at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in DC, which is where the White House is. I don't know why they thought that the two were like connected. Um, Maybe it sounded more official. And So they do. They call you and they tell you you got to pay them. You got to pay them through an Apple gift card or something, right? Something stupid and not at all how things are done. But they're trying to prey on people that don't know any better or are too afraid to question it. And so this one time I'm at work, not doing anything. This was back when I was still in the military. I'm going to say it was 2016, probably around that time. And I can't skip this ad at all. There we go. And I met this dude on the phone for 3 hours. Got this dude on the phone for 3 hours as I was stringing him along and making him think whatever I wanted him to think. And about a week or two goes by, and he had told me, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're our office." He told me everything. He admitted to everything about it too. But then he's like tried to lie and say like, "Yeah, we get the socials, we get everyone's socials from the FBI." I was like, "You didn't have my social. What do you mean you get everybody's social from the FBI? You didn't tell me my social." "Oh well, your information's not out there, but most people we've got their socials, and this is a whole conspiracy thing in conjunction with the FBI." I was like, "Yeah, sure, okay, I'll believe that." And he told me, "Yeah, we're in Sri Lanka." Guess what I hear in the news about 2 or 3 weeks later? There's been a big bust of like a factory, warehouse, office complex or whatever with like 70 people working there that are doing this IRS scam thing. It was like, did I have them on the phone long enough for the FBI to like track them or something? I don't know. It's kind of coincidence is the timing is perfect. Khaki sand color over the darker brown so it doesn't just look like a tan concrete. Khaki tan sand over a darker brown. Okay, so do a dark brown and then bring it up. I can do that. That's the Imperial Eagle painted gold. The rest. Should I do all of this? All of this. This is the side. I consider this the sidewalk and maybe this a larger sidewalk. This is the dreadnought sidewalk and the infantry sidewalk, right? And this is like the flagstone where the foundation that the buildings go on, right? Do I do all of it sandstone or do I keep this stuff gray? That's the question. What do you think about that? Because I could see it going either way. You do a dark brown, light dry brush of tan, and add water to the dry brush tan, making a thin glaze that will dry unevenly, leaving a patchy, uneven brown feel. I like it. Look at incredible scenery that have a great stone painting method used for painting medieval stone castles and walls. Army painted leather brown is great for the base. You do the sidewalk different from the sand. Do it all sandstone. All right, I've got two choices being voiced here. One saying do it all sandstone. One saying sidewalk separate from the sand. Let me get votes. I probably needed more paper towels because whenever I dip this thing into the water, like it's too much water. There's no use the road to give it different color. Do it all sandstone. Use the road to give it a different color. All sandstone. So I'm looking at the table for this battle report, and it is it's very interesting the strengths and weaknesses of the two armies. The color on their buildings. My buildings are going to be. I want them to go from like a dark gray to a bright white. So kind of look like concrete, like white concrete. I don't really know exactly. Kind of like drywall. It's similar to how it looks on the box. I just can't reach the box. Pick out some individual groups of stones. What color are you building? Yeah, awesome stuff. So the box looks like this. Some of the buildings will be red, and some of them will be blue, and some of them will be green. I guess that, a bit less destroyed. Maybe not so much of the brown. So yeah, I want it to kind of look like these. Yeah, mostly. Like a whitewash effect in the buildings. Yeah. You pick out some individual groups of stones like a whitewash effect. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of slow. You could do all sandstone, but in your opinion, empty lots would look as empty sand lots if they were the same color as the sidewalk. I kind of like the idea. I think doing. Here's what I'm thinking. Scott's idea is easy to get it all done quick. It might look better. The other idea, Moses, I don't know how to say it. Marion's idea is going to be harder work, but might also look better. One of them is going to look better. I don't know. It might be too much with all the different stuff, the separation, but maybe it looks good. I don't know. You probably want a gray for the stone, like a gray for the stone. Then the sand color might clash, not too much though. If you just like the look, I kind of like a dark sandstone. I'm thinking a dark stone with like the Xandri dust, the tan color looking, the tan color being like the dry brush or whatever, being like the highlight of it is that. I think that could look good. I think that could look really good. I don't know. I kind of like both though, right? Because these guys are standing on this, right? This and this and this. They're not so much standing on this. So this looks different from them. It's not that bad. And, mostly what I do with builds is, I don't know. I'm terrible at deciding this stuff. More effort, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't, I have for many years now had a philosophy that the harder path is usually the right one. The easy path is to just, and I think about it, like, well, the easy path is to do nothing, right? Well, that's not very good. Yeah. So how I paint my bases is I start with this color. I give it a dark ink wash that I'm going to be giving, with contrast. I'm going to be using Nolan oil on these streets or Agrax Earth Jade. I haven't decided yet. Or both. Both maybe. Might use both. And then I do dry brush it with this, and then dry brush it with a little bit lighter with another color, and then I stipple on some marks and stuff. That's how I normally paint my bases. That's how I paint the rest of my bases, which the brown wouldn't go with at all. But if the brown is just here under the buildings, the footprint of the buildings, And that's not so bad. And, you know, in life, sidewalk looks different from foundation, I think. It might clash a bit. It might clash a bit on the table. Problem with watering down black craft paint is I'll end up with the wrong mixture sometimes. You know, the mixture will be different every time. And that'll mess me up. You could probably just buy a whole button, buy a thing of black craft paint, water down a bunch of it, save it all, and then use it for the next 10 years. Or just use it for this one. And then just buy some cheap artistic acrylic inks and make a wash or drain, either burnt umber black or something. Works very well. Make a large batch and put it in a jar. Yeah, could do that. I get all my paint from John, and he gets 30% of the profits. So, or he profits 30% of it. So, if I buy enough, eventually he'll be able to afford more infantry for his army. That is, yeah, I'm going to need a second coat. I tell you, looking at them all from a distance without the light on, I've got them all on the ground. The road clearly looks different than the tiles. But while they're on the table with the light under them, not so good. Goodness. Dish soap makes it flow better. Oh, for the craft paint. Yeah, come on, get in there. So this game, Crayola and Zilla, starting a lot closer to the objectives, right? But they're probably going to take the objective. They'll probably get the objective. They have to hold it till the end of the 5 turns. That's where we're going to hit them. Me and Star, we're gonna smash their forces, and then we'll try to take back the objective at the end. Need a woman's makeup blusher brush to use to dust the tiles off. Are you saying to wipe off the dust or to like dry brush? And so we'll come back, we'll bash them, we'll hammer them with our long range fire, and we will take back the objective. That's my plan, at least. That's my hopes, my dreams. Now, what it's all going to come down to is how much of our tanks do we lose in this first game? Because in the second game, we're not getting those back. They're going to get their other stuff back. My thoughts on flyers: flyers are pretty powerful. Flyers are very hard to take down without flyers. The stuff dedicated to taking them down is often short ranged and immobile, or just not points effective at doing the job. It's for very poor choices for trying to get rid of them, right? So you think a great way to take down a flyer is to hit it with a Hyperios tarantula with missiles, but you can't hit them with that because they have a shorter range than the surface air to surface missiles that the lightnings have. So you're gonna lose your AA before I move into their range. Then you got things like Gyarados. They're slow, but they've got better range. They've got range on their side. And you've got the Sicarians, which are faster, still short range though. And I'm going to hit them with something else, or your opponent's going to hit them with something else. So very not great choices for what you're dealing with. So you really need aircraft of your own to take them out. I don't run mine very often because my opponents don't have them. Lick a clean brush and blend it out. Yeah, Sicarians can do air defense. The problem, you can use them. The problem is, let's take a look at Sicarians real quick. We got a couple of different Sicarians, actually. We've got the Arcus Squadron, which has the Arcus missile launcher, anti-tank, skyfire tracking, 20-inch range. It's got 1 wound. It's 95 points for 2 of them, which means they're like 47.5 points a piece. It's 2 shots, 1 5s, AP2. Pretty good. Pretty good if we can get it within the 20 inches, and it's got a 10-inch move. So you can't get in range of your aircraft can't get in range of it without it being able to get in range of them. So that's good. That's good. But they're still weak they're still fairly weak on the ground. So, you gotta be careful with that. And they're only hitting on 5s with 2 missiles. So between the 2 of them, probably getting a hit or 2.5. It's not tracking though, so I guess it does have re-roll. So probably get 2 or 3 hits. What's the other one got? That was the Arcus. The Omega Squadron is not going to be doing anything AA-wise. The Punisher Squadrons, I believe, are anti-infantry. Those were rotor cannon, light 18. Not anti-infantry per se, but can't hurt them, so probably not what you want to do. And the regular one has tracking on the autocannon, which is nice, but it's only a 16-inch range. So that one's probably not hitting my aircraft before I hit it. So, and then is there one more? Oh, the Omega. Okay, they turned it into the Omega as the plasma array. Yeah, so the Arcus is the best one for it. Use that. But it's still very weak. You gotta be careful though, because it's very weak to other things, right? So if you're careful, you set it up so that you can move your aircraft. You can move your aircraft here, and for them to bring their Sicarians in range of your aircraft, somebody else, maybe somebody on first fire, is going to be able to take them out. Solar air defense is worse than Space Marine defense. Solar auxiliary, you only have you've got the better aircraft actually. but the only thing that you have that's dedicated to taking out aircraft on the ground is your tarantulas, which again, it's a 25-inch range. And I don't know about marine aircraft. Marines have a little bit of range on their aircraft. Hellstrike missiles, the turbo laser destructor, and the Thunderhawks. The Fire Raptor has like one thing that's 30-inch range. The Storm Eagle doesn't have good range. It's got 25 inches on the vengeance launchers. That's it. The Zython Interceptor Squadron, very short range. Very short range on that one. So, Solar Auxiliary doesn't have as good AA, but it doesn't have. But Marines don't have as good aircraft. So there's that. Next spring, you'll have 40 years of painting GW models. Nice. The viscosity of saliva works better than water for smoothing out any brush strokes or chalkiness. Okay. I did not know that. Then I can go around saying these were painted with my blood, spit, and tears. People will be like, isn't it sweat? And I'll be like, nope, I spit on them. You got a whole bunch of brushes. Timu. Yeah, I don't know where I got this brush. This is Army Painter. It's falling apart. It's absolute garbage. I need to like pinch that closed or something. But I got a bunch of brushes from Walmart. Actually. And none of them are really good for what I'm doing right now, though. You can call your road Hawktua Avenue. Oh, God. Oh, God. You know what happened to that girl? You know, she grifted, like, a bunch of people. I assume you know of Hawktua Girl. She made a meme coin. And as it started to go up in stock market price, she sold all of her stock of it and took all the money. I think it wasn't just her, it was probably other people too. Traders in the corner of Hawktua Avenue and Gulf Boulevard. Oh, goodness. Ugh. That's when the commander says, "Listen, traders or no, I don't want to see that corner. Just delete it. Just delete the whole corner." Yeah, Hawktua and spit on their brain. Oh God, I don't want to. No, she went viral, and then she made a meme coin, and then she sold a bunch of the meme coin. And she was nobody before this, right? She wasn't any kind of famous beforehand. She just, I mean, hell, anybody else could have stepped into that place and been like, "Yeah, that was me." Well, they'd have to kind of look like her, but Yeah, so she said, "Hey, buy my meme coin, makes the stock price go up." She sold everything she had, which she had a whole bunch more, and she crashed it and took all their money. What else is Fulgrim going to name the streets of his capital city? I feel like original Fulgrim would have named them things like perfection, like art of the blade and stuff, He wasn't always about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It used to just be about the rock and roll. A little bit more water. Right amount of water. Trader Avenue, yeah. First of all, what capital city does Fulgrim have? We destroyed all of that. Yeah, or more after this one, and then I can go back to giving him a second coat. I don't know paint. I just call it last Vegas. Call it New Vegas. Oh wait, isn't that in Fallout? Isn't it New Vegas in Fallout? All right, if you're new here, raise your hand. I see a bunch of people that haven't said anything yet. I want to know where you're from, what you're painting, what you're playing, what's going on. And of course, I want you to hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. Hit the notification so you know when we're painting. Pretty much every Tuesday around this time of the day. And what's your favorite faction? Everyone tell me their favorite faction. Favorite faction or legion. Or chapter. If you want to go with a favorite chapter, that's fine too. Or what's your favorite game setting from Games Workshop? And if that's not your favorite, what's your favorite game from anybody? Any War Machine fans out there? Probably not. And yeah, hit thumbs up, subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 916 when I looked last. Let's get a fresh little update. Maybe the numbers changed. It's still the same. 916. We are on the last. It has been a journey. It's been a long journey. I've been making these videos for a while now, but there was a couple of pauses. This time last year, today, 1 year ago, I was in chemo. I started my first day of chemo, so I'm glad to be over. Sorry about that, spam callers. Glad to be done and over with that part of the journey. That stuff sucked. That stuff was awful. So yeah. All right, let's see. Unlikely Winter plays Blooded Kill Team, Age of Sigmar, and you're from Minnesota. Hello, nice to meet you. Scott is painting up some Legion Imperialis armor, and Frankos is 65,000 points of Dark Angels and 15,000 points of Elder. Good God, man, are you okay? What are you doing this for 4 years? So that actually those numbers change. You and your son love a game called Pillage and the Baron's War. Never heard of it. Is it Pillage and the Baron's War, or are those two separate games? That's what I'm saying, man. He's been doing this for 40 years, though. Can't beat Space Wolves or Dark Angels. You don't have to beat Dark Angels. You just have to tell them that there's a fallen over there, and they will pack up and leave. I think one of the first models I ever painted was a Dark Angel bike, Ravenwing, because I liked the color of it. I didn't understand. This was again third edition or something. This was like the first thing I was painting. My parents were painting everything else for me. My mom painted Marnus Calgar on her birthday. Yeah, how does one man store 65,000 points? It's all Terminators. And yeah, so it was like on the box art, it had like a couple of different ways to paint it, but nothing said like what anything was. So it was just like, oh, that one's black and cool. That's cool. Let's paint that. And I thought it was the same thing as like some other side or something. Oh, you know what? I think I painted some dark green Dark Angels too. This is the old models that had like the tactical symbol was a part of their shoulder pad and stuff. But yeah, I didn't understand how any of that worked. I didn't understand the lore back then or anything. So I thought they were part of the same army or something. I didn't know. And somebody pointed out that I was wrong in a friendly way, but you know, not in a, oh, you did it wrong. You can't paint them like that. Yeah, you can paint them however you want. Pillage is a Viking Age skirmish game, and the Baron's War is based off a period of English history where some of our Baron lords rebelled against the king in a medieval period. Oh, cool! It's based on real time. Which if it's based on real time, what year? But yeah, so yeah, I kid about Dark Angels. Although their lore, honestly, my issue with the Dark Angels is the people that write their lore are kind of bad at it because they never truly explain. They explain it right, like, oh, we can't let anybody know that we had traitors in our midst, even though everybody else had traitors in their midst. So they do very traitor things to hide the fact that they had traitors. Bro, that sounds like you're traitors. And I think that's really more to blame of the writers not being able to write a good reason why they do the things they do, or not being able to write how they're different. Something, right? Something. I don't know. I can't come up with the right thing to say here because my writers have failed me. Large Rubbermaid totes for things like Thunderhawks. I'm Thunderhawk. Oh, it's cool. You gotta into the longboat. Nice sewing bags for things like fire. Sewing bags. Sewing bags? You just toss them in bags? That can't be right. Have you guys seen the TV show Vikings? I think it was on like History Channel or something. I can't remember what it was on. Vikings like follows Ragnar Lothbrok, and yeah, really good up until like the last season. Kind of just ends on a very downer of a note. And I get that like the actual Viking history kind of just ends on a downer of a note of like, yeah, and then they just stopped. But like the last season is just so like, oh, so they're just completely changing everything about their personalities and characters. Weird. Have you ever seen Black Sails? The Last King. I do need to watch that. That's on my to watch list. What is that one about? That's not about Vikings, is it? Maybe it is. No, it is. I recognize the name. That's not the movie, is it? There's a movie. There's a movie with a similar name. Is the movie The Fallen Kingdom? No. Sorry, I never finished it. I think Amazon did the last season. Amazon did the last season of Vikings. Is that why it's garbage? I don't like it personally. Other people might like it. I don't know. Um, I just found it to be very like I was here for the battles and the pillaging and everything, and the story that goes along with it. But the story became, hey, we need reasons to stop battling and pillaging, and it was just kind of like, oh, you guys, all this happened kind of for nothing at the end. Like it was a big nothing burger for me. You can find them in places like Michael's or Joann's. Sewing bags, they have handles and wheels and like small suitcases. Oh, okay, so you put like foam and stuff in there. I was thinking like a whole bag. All right, yeah, I'll check that out. I'll look for those. The movie is called Seven Kings Must Die. Not heard about that. Seven Kings Must Die. Last season, Ragnar is dead. That's about it. Something. It's Ragnar is dead for a couple of the seasons, unless you're talking about the other. Unless you're talking about the Last Kingdom. Um, Ragnar's dead for a bunch of the seasons towards the end, but and it focuses on his sons for a while, and then his sons fight each other, and then they stop fighting each other, and then they fight each other, and then they stop fighting each other, and and then they fight somebody else, and then like they just I don't want to spoil anything, but it kind of goes back and forth, and then it's just kind of like at the end they're just like, you know what we're gonna do? If we stay here and we don't do anything, we're gonna kill each other. So we need to do we need to do something else. We need to go fight somebody else. And then they go do that and they don't come back. It's like, oh, well, that was cool. Great. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think we live for those moments. We enjoy watching the show for those moments where they turn the tide, you know, like, oh, here's this thing that turns the tide and like, ah, haha, I tricked you, we win. And it's just kind of, I don't know, you kind of don't have that at the end. Like, even when you do have it, it's like, haha, we tricked you, we lose. Wait, what? We were supposed to win. This is true. Game of Thrones, the ending of Game of Thrones, very different. It's still dissatisfied. It's still lacking in a satisfaction, but in a very different way. I think I think Vikings is very like, okay, at the end, like, oh, I see what they did there. But yeah, Uber discovering America, and he does some stuff, but then it's kind of like, all right, guys, like that's it. And then I think Uba's there when Bjorn. I can't remember if Uba's there when Bjorn stuff. Uh, Ivar and Harold go back to England or Mercia or whatever it's called at the time, or you know whatever part of the world that is. Um, yeah, just but then Game of Thrones is like, oh, this is just suddenly garbage. Like I was so excited for this, and then it's just wow, not you didn't do anything. You ruined it. Vikings isn't ruined. It's just kind of okay. Game of Thrones is like, oh, this is you guys went the wrong direction with it. You guys messed up so many things. Ross trying to destroy the pagan religion for Christianity. Yeah, But the Rus were like also Vikings. I was very confused by that part of the story. It did cause me to find out about Olga of Kiev, which was a fun little bit of lore. So Ragnar Saga with some other Vikings mixed in or something. And the great part is we're not even 100% sure that the Ragnar Saga was even real or if it was entirely a myth. All we know is that people did go around saying, I'm the son of Ragnar or something like that. I looked this up at some point for a game. And that was the information I found. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, crazy. The Rus were Norwich Vikings, who settled in Russia. Okay. And converted to Christianity. And that ended up being what happened to most Vikings, apparently. That's why they stopped raiding, is they just Christianity kind of took over everything, as all the people who believed in Valhalla were slowly died off because they went to go die in battle to go to Valhalla. The people that were left were like, well, I could go do that or I could become Christian. So they went and became Christian. They had a is Vikings a reboot? The actor that plays Bjorn plays briefly in oh, I just realized because of that phone call, my camera's facing the wrong way. You guys have probably been very confused and distracted. There's some historical facts that Ragnar actually lived and was killed by King Alla. Okay. Maybe the inconsistencies is they're not sure if the people that said that they were his sons or not. I don't know. Who wouldn't want to go to that? Maybe people still want to go to Valhalla. Some of those people you shouldn't listen to, though. But they exist. Vikings Valhalla is set approximately 100 years after Vikings. Okay. Bannerlord. That's what I was thinking of. In Bannerlord, I remember reading something about it where it was like, yeah, this is based loosely on what we believe to be accurate. What historians believe to be accurate, though it's, you know, there's a level of we don't know. I should finish that game. I haven't finished. I don't know if you finished that game. Yeah? Well, feel free to talk to me. Fight all day, get served beer by topless Valkyries all night. Sounds like paradise to me. And don't forget the food. I think they eat steaks and stuff too. Good for steak now. Kids, get dressed. We're going out for steak. Live not far from the site where the first recorded Viking raid. Oh, cool. I lived nearby where Pocahontas's tribe was, which is also interesting. Not necessarily related. Both tragic stories for their own, in their own ways and for their own reasons. Athelstan was taken from, yeah, because he's from the. Was that the first raid that they take him? Your state's football team is called the Vikings. They wear purple. Yes, the Minnesota Vikings. Hey, why are they called the Minnesota? Why Vikings? Why are Vikings their mascot? Minnesota didn't have Vikings, did they? Lindisfarne Island. This is the last tile. Then I got to go back and do all the others. And it took 2 hours just to do what I did. Large portion of Scandinavians live there. Ah, see, that makes sense. That's nice that they honored them in such a way. It's also known as Holy Island. Oh, that's cool. Was it known as that before the Vikings? I've got so many shows I need to watch, need to catch up on. Squid Games, there's like 2 seasons of those. Your walkways are white painted steel on bases. Might look good for your sidewalks. It's a mid-tone brown, dry brush white. It's simple and fast. Are you in the Discord? Post a picture of that. Which, by the way, if you guys aren't in the Discord, feel free to join the Discord. Although I do prefer the comments coming onto YouTube because, again, YouTube algorithm likes the comments and likes the interaction and stuff. But for non-video related stuff, sometimes it's just easier to have a conversation on Discord, especially if you guys are trying to show me pictures and stuff. It's a small Discord, which means I'm easily able to always answer everyone's questions, or other people can answer your questions too. There's been a holy place. Okay. Interesting with dark models. The island gets closed off when the tide comes in. Oh, so it's got one of those bridges. It's got one of those roads where it's only accessible during low tide. Okay, that's fair. Well, I think my email's on YouTube somewhere, so you can email it to me. But I'm never on my email. I'd love to see the pictures of your sidewalks if you wanted to share them. I'm sure we can figure something out there if you wanted to. You don't want to. This is a GW tile of plastic. Yes. Not how I would word it, but yes, this is the Legions Imperialis Civitas Rhodes tiles. Is what it's called. Do you play Legions Imperialis? No tiles, it's Sector Mechanica spaces. Okay. I think I use I use the Sector Imperialis spaces. I use those for my 40k stuff. Not for all my I use those for my Marines and for my Guard. I use I make all my own bases for my sisters. bases like this one. Here's my favorite base. Love that. Sandbar, little sandbags there, and a thing. Little guy drinking a little bit of water, drinking a little flash. Oh, you missed everything, dude. We've been talking about. Talk briefly about. Um, what? No, you're the same. Same as what? I'm assuming you're not knowing very much about it. Oh, let's see. What are we talking about, guys? We talked about what to do with the tiles, right? Talked about doing this a brown tan, like my guard, kind of similar to the guard. We talked about the brave Viking Hawktua. We talked about Vikings for a little bit. We talked about whether or not should I do this all brown? And we were kind of thinking like this, right? Something like this. Should I do this brown and also do this sidewalk portion brown? Or should the sidewalk portion be a dark gray? And I'm kind of leaning towards making the two separate colors. So I think what I'll do is I'll paint these and then I can come back and do this after the fact. And if it looks too clashy, if it's too jarring of a difference, then I will, I can just paint over it, right? I can make it the same thing. But I think I'm going to try and do it separate. I think music ended. Yeah. We don't need to listen to that. We don't need to listen to this commercial. So yeah, I took a vote. I was taking a vote. If you had thoughts on how it should be, I use some Imperialis bases too, but those are usually stone. So I've done those the same jade, sea green. Yeah, that's kind of how I did this guy's base too. Oh wait, no, this one doesn't have any of it. Some of them have like a part that I did stone, and some of them have a bit of a blue to it. So I did that. Talk briefly about how I'm probably going to have to do a second layer on these guys. Which I believe is what led to the conversation of Hawktua. So I'm calling this flagstone. This is the sidewalk, and then this is also sidewalk, but slightly lower sidewalk. I don't know why there's a difference. I don't know why there's two different sidewalks. And then this is obviously the road, the asphalt. I've shared in Discord how you did your buddy's tiles. That's right. You painted. I think you had said something about that before. Let's see. Oh, it looks really cool. Who posted this Warbringer? That's not Warbringer. It's a Emperor Titan, but with Emperor Titan, but with a kind of looks a bit like a War Master. That's really cool. Oh yeah, that's yeah. I remember seeing that. There's the official title. Yeah, they do official title. Yeah, okay. So the concept works then, because you did a light gray. You did almost white to a light gray to a black. I'm kind of going to be doing the opposite, really, if you think about it, where I'll be black to a light gray to a very light gray that's almost brown. It's brown. It's a brown gray. Why not do a wash first before a dry brush on the road? I will do a wash before I do the dry brush. That is what I plan on doing. Blending and smoothing. Blending and smoothing the dry brushing with saliva. Then the recesses will pop more with the wash. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna wash it before I dry brush it in. I don't know if I was clear on that earlier. The tan idea, I think that would work. Not into Imperialis, but I would play Epic. I'm just here for painting and chilling. Hey, man, and we're happy to have you here for painting and chilling all day, every day. And if you like watching the other videos, that's cool too. Absolutely crushed in that game. What game? Bearman? I heard the Epic was a great game. Yeah, I always wanted to play Epic. If you know me, you know I love the armies with the massive. I love a massive table with hundreds of guys on it, and dozens of tanks. Just never got into it. The scale's wrong. I don't like the scale now. Now that we see the Epic scale, the new Epic scale, I could never go back and get any of those old models because you're gonna have that game. Yeah, I can never go back and get those old models because they wouldn't look right to me. I don't know how I'm going to do these platforms though. For these guys, and this one's dusty. I'm thinking might. I'm wondering if the tile, if I should put the same color for the road on the tops of this, right? That might be cool, yeah, or maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. We will see. Printing Titans for 40k. I'm going to use Adeptus Titanicus rules to fight 40k Titan battles. Okay. See, if I ever get a 3D printer, I would be printing up Tyranids. Thousands of Tyranids. A game that certainly more than one game type of the Vikings, so you're going to look into. Awesome. Oh yeah, 15,000 hours of Heresy, so they would have to turn Legions Imperialis into Epic for me to be interested. I'd want to play Eldar. I see. I'd also want to do Eldar. I want all the things. If GW starts making Xenos, and yeah, they'd have to turn it into. They'd have to turn it into. Would they have to turn? What do you mean they have to turn it into Epic? You mean they have to bring it to 40k? They have to bring it up in the time scale? Because I could see them doing that. I don't think they'll turn it into Epic though. I mean, the rule, maybe. I mean, it's already. People consider it Epic. I've heard people say that it's Epic 4th edition or whatever. which I kind of disagree with. I'm kind of like, I think they're their own games. Have you printed Tyranids for 40K, or have you printed epic scale Tyranids for 40K? Because I'd be talking about printing epic scale Tyranids. Orcs and Eldar as M30. There were Orcs and Eldar during the Horus Heresy. They just didn't do as much. Tim's obvious Vegas. Hey, Tim. One day we will get 40K era epic scale back as well as the Legion's Imperialis. And one of the well, could it be both? Could it be Legions Imperialis? I mean, I don't want to have two Space Marine armies. I don't want one Space Marine army for Legions Imperialis and one Space Marine army for Epic. Or for 40K era Epic. Could we just have Legions Imperialis that maybe it's not called Legions Imperialis anymore at that point, but could we just have all the stuff that's in how am I trying to say this? We just have all the stuff that's in 40K also shrunk down to this size and playing in this game. I don't want to have to buy. Yeah, I don't want to have to buy 12 more basilisks, and the only difference is they don't have the enclosed firing mechanism. Yeah, Xeno expansion. No, they could easily do it. They could easily put Orcs and Eldar in here. They exist in this time frame. There's no reason not to. So what's up, Tim? You stopped making magic videos, and are you still making Legions Imperialis? Were you still painting everything during that time that you've been gone, or just play your solar auxiliary vehicles and play Death Course? Yeah, I mean that's what I'll end up doing. I need somewhere else to put these when I finish them. So mark that I have a second coat. Thanks, Scott. Yep, more cheers. 2 games with me and duplicate Marines in this. So, yeah, no, we don't. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I don't know how you get around that though. I think a partial solution could be you say, hey, it's no longer a set time zone. It's just this is Warhammer future. I don't know. I don't know what to do. You can get Eldar and Orcs into Custodes and Demons into Legions Imperialis, and it fits just fine within the time frame. But then, what do you do for all the other Xenos factions? What do you do for all the other Imperial factions? Battle don't exist for thousands of years. Tau don't exist for thousands of years. Tau don't exist for thousands of years. Tyranids at least exist. They're just not here yet. Necrons exist. They're just asleep still. So, do you slightly adjust for Legions Imperialis, is it a different universe where it's slightly different timelines, or is it is it just we're ignoring timelines and this is just you're just put things on the table, or is the Solar Auxiliary now just guard, uh, but armored? Are they now elite guard? Are they you know? I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you go about it. Um, I think it'll be a second edition type thing, something like that. Long-winded, but you've been playing Ally since its release. Yep. And life has been too hectic to maintain making content, so it went on in the background. All right, cool. Yeah, no, I get that. I had my own issues last year. The beginning of Legions Imperialis, I kind of stopped doing videos for quite a bit, and then I came back to it, and then I stopped again. I also play Magic. Not very good, but just a thing I did when I was a kid, very casually with my friends, and I recognized that after I saw your welcome back video. Yeah, in resin. What did I miss here? Just play Death Blow Creek. I'm sure I could 3D print you an epic scale. Could you now? In resin? Is this probably worth it? There's a couple of people doing homebrew rules for Legions Imperialis where they've done like Tyranids and orcs, and I want to say Eldor. Um, but they add a psychic phase to the game, and I don't think you add psychic phase to Legions Imperialis. I think you just give it. I think you just give them psychic weapons, right? You give them psi weapons. That's why psi weapons exist. That's why the psi keyword exists. Which, by the way, Tim, I saw your Ultramarines. Beautiful, beautiful paint job there. Pretty good. Bio Titans and everything in epic scale. Is it epic 8mm or like original epic like teeny like slightly smaller than 8mm scale? I think this epic scale is 8mm. Synopsis stage. No, see that'd just be morale though. Yeah, you can do both. That's cool. I think the new because they call it. Hang on here. 12 and up. Somebody tell Star she's not allowed to play anymore because it's 12 and up. Because they call this epic scale, right? It's epic. So new, there's this epic scale which is 8mm. I think it's 8mm, but I don't know if old epic is considered epic scale now. Thanks, really appreciate that. Like you're working on tiles at the moment. Oh, dude, that's so crazy. We're both working on tiles at the same time. Nice. How do you paint yours? I don't have an airbrush. So this is the slowest and most painful thing to paint. But just painting. No, that's the separate football camp, right? Okay. Yeah, no, we didn't sign him up for that. We were busy. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to pay $50 for. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Close it. Bye. Later. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Yours is printed in 8mm. No airbrush here. Doing lots of ones. Lots of washing and drying. Yeah. Lots of back and forth. Lots of brush. I kind of feel like those videos of like the if you've ever seen the videos of like the you know the dude doing something the old way, the ancient technique or whatever, where it's the back and forth and it's just repeated motions by a practiced hand that has perfected a craft. If I haven't perfected a craft, I just I just continue to put paint onto things. I think brush strokes will kind of go away when I put a wash down and then subsequently dry brush after that. I think it'll come out looking just fine. Levitt was 6mm and Legion's Imperialis is 8mm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The tiles drink water. I know that. Done though. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need. It's good that we didn't get past this color today, and probably won't get past this color today, because thinking I'm thinking that I don't have enough wash for everything. I do oil wash. That'd be like 4 pots at least. Yeah, I probably should go to the hobby store, Hobby Lobby, and get something. Especially if it's only ever going to be for these, it wouldn't be too difficult. Wouldn't be too difficult to get like a pot specifically for this. Test it out. Craft paint glazes. What brand? Is there a specific brand for this that I use? These craft paint glazes. Hmm. Make a homemade wash using English for terrain and use GW washer miniatures. No made, just a cheap craft paint works. Any really apple barrel paints before and use the dollar store stuff. Okay, no dollar store stuff. Yep. Different piles going, and as I whatever while that one's drying, I paid this one, and then this one goes on to the other pile, and then while that one's drying, the next one goes on to back onto that first pile. Seems to be a good. Seems to be heavily diluted with water, and this is too diluted with water. Which workers don't have enough. Okay. Oops. Just headbutted the camera. Not enough paint. Speaking of not enough pigment, I don't have enough pigment in my mixture of water and paint. Hobby Lobby by you has Master's Touch, which works fine for acrylic washes for you. And use distilled water for your glazes. Tap water has salts and minerals that can leave discoloration. Yeah, I'm using tap water for this. Tap water has salts and minerals. Yeah, man, it's probably been a problem I've dealt with before. These white streaks. Is that just with washes? So prefer oil wash with Windsor, Newton, and Gamsol. I swear it's a constant state of either too much or not enough water. You get to pull it back off and work in longer working time. Okay. Huh. I just realized there's these fire hydrants that I guess I'm gonna not fire hydrants, manhole covers that I'm probably gonna have to paint something different. I'm gonna guess Toby's going to bed by now. I haven't heard from him in a minute. Ionized water works good as well. Where do you get that from? Anytime you're making a glaze, because adding enough water to make a glaze effectively breaks the pigment in the water. Yeah, that's a good point. Roy, what's up? I was telling pirate jokes to somebody at work yesterday. A customer came in with their kid. Customer I know very well came in with their kid and he was like, "Oh, Crown's got all the jokes." So I started telling pirate jokes. Good morning. Seems late again. What's the main topic of today's discussion? Well, we've talked about a bunch of things. We talked a little bit about the model, the tiles here. Talked a bunch about painting and making our own glazes and oils and stuff. And we've talked a bit about how I feel about the Titans. Overall, I'm excited for them. However, they are. I don't know how I plan on building any of them. As excited as I am that we're getting them, I don't really have any like. I don't have a strong need for any of them right yet. Like, because I want. I don't know. I don't know. Titan weapons might need a little bit of love. Guys, give me a second. Talked a little bit about the show Vikings, briefly about Game of Thrones, how the endings were a little disappointing in different ways. I am indeed doing all the roads at the same time like a smart person. Oh, I'm sorry. Um, some people here, not mentioning any names, painted the tiles and batches of. This definitely did not lead to a wide color effect. Fulgrim's capital city. We've talked briefly about how Fulgrim's capital city would have the corner of Huxua and Gokdok, I believe. To which I pointed out that Fulgrim does not have a capital city, as capital cities don't belong to traders. I tried to get a little. We talked about how we're going to paint these. So we're going to go for a dark color here. We're going to do a lighter gray here for these two parts. And we're going to have a brownish, tannish kind of thing here. So we got street, sidewalk, mini sidewalk, and large sidewalk. Not really sure why there's two sidewalks. Somebody living in a big city, is this a thing in Europe? Maybe, I don't know. And this is flagstone, is what I'm calling it. I don't have any official terms for these. This is what I'm going for. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what we talked about. I tried to briefly talk about my tactical plans for the big game that's coming Thursday. Oh, well, it's not coming Thursday. There won't be a. Yes, I'll do a gold Imperial Eagle. So right there. Yes, that will be a gold Imperial Eagle. There won't be a battle report this week because it's taking a long time for me to try. We haven't even started it. It takes a while for me to get 4 people together to play a game. So we'll try to play. I'm hoping to play a little bit tomorrow. It's a big game. It's gonna take a while. It's 3 big games, but I'll post them as they come. It's not going to be 1 video. It's going to be 3 videos. It's a thing in Old City. Really, Seattle has areas with sidewalks like that because of the Seattle Underground. Are you serious? They've got 2 sidewalks, mini sidewalk, and big sidewalk. I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to see that with my own eyes. I believe you. I just yeah. The paths here tend to be asphalt like that, like the roads, or gray or sandstone paving. Okay. And then of course there's a gutter. There's a very long gutter going across everything. I don't know, I don't typically see that either. Okay. No. So, yeah, a little bit different from what I'm used to. So, but we're gonna make it work. What else? Yeah, so the Medusas are going to be in the new battle report when it happens. Hopefully, I'm real hopeful that battle will be up for next week. Are you going to do some road markings eventually? Yeah, I want to do road markings. I want to do road markings. I don't know how much I'll do. When you say road markings, I assume you mean like the lines down the road. I'm probably just going to do lines down the road, right? Like a line on the sides, maybe down the middle. I don't know. Here's a rhino. Here's that's a carrion, and another Siberian. Something fell off, but I guess it was just a piece of plastic that was stuck to it. I don't know where the turret went. Maybe it's not. I might have lost the turret just now. So I mean, yeah, maybe I'll do a line down the center. I don't know. Awesome. Oh yeah, like central line or something. Yeah, I might do that. I just don't think I'm going to do anything like stop or slow down or stop at line. They just would actually be stopped at line or uh, I don't know, maybe crosswalks. Ooh, that could be fun. Oh, stick with white lines, but use painters. Yeah, that's what I'll do. That's my plan. I don't know. Do I want to do crossing lines, and do I want to do? I might do some crossing lines, and I might do. I don't know if I want to do that like white line that you're supposed to stop at a four-way intersection. Maybe. I hear a car alarm going off, and I'm worried it might be my car alarm. And I live in a rural area, so it stopped. I live in a rural area where that would be like, did my kids just run into my car? And I'm nervous that any second now my kids are going to come up here and say, "We ran into your car." Oh my God! Here come my kids. Was that you? What'd you do? Did you hit the car with this ball? Buddy, don't be throwing things at my car. Did you put a dent in the car? Did you break a window? Did you break anything? If I go down there, am I going to find a dent? What'd you hit it with? The ball? Didn't you hit it with your scooter? Okay. Who else is out there? Who stopped it? Who stopped the alarm? Right. You could. The deer are gangster. Did I get everything else? Footpaths and become two parts. I reckon it's a design choice to make. Yeah, I feel like that's the plan there to make them look like different things. I'm running out of this paint. Let me see. Yeah, central line and side lines, maybe even crossing lines. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get to that part. They have large concrete slabs with glass blocks in them to allow light into Seattle. Oh, I've seen that near certain parts of like the railroad stations. Guys, if you're just getting in and you haven't already, don't forget to hit that thumbs up for me. It does a lot for the channel, supports the channel in ways that you wouldn't believe. You probably would have never found this channel if it wasn't for somebody else hitting the thumbs up. So pass on the line to the next person and do me a thumb. Take a look at Drop Down Commander terrain topics and inspiration. I will definitely check that out. I've seen people playing that. They were playing that at my the game store that I grew up going to a couple of years ago before they closed. The guy retired. The guy packed it up and retired, and that caused the store to close. That closed the store because he was the owner or whatever. I don't know. He sold it. But I don't think they like stayed open or anything after that. I don't think they continued. Nobody else took over. It's just all right. We're done, right? But they were playing Drop Zone Commander there. Because really, after we finish painting these, I have all summer to paint these before it's probably going to get to any kind of weather conditions where I can prime something again because of how hot and muggy it gets down here. So after that, I'm going to start working on building some new terrain. I showed you guys that box a minute ago. I will build a couple more buildings, and then I'm going to build a bunch of rubble and ruins. Thanks for coming, David. Great having you as always. I will see you next time. They have city parks? Ooh, no, I need that. because I want to make little parts that can go onto this. I want to make it where I can put parts on this, and it makes sense. I want it to make sense when I put a part on this tile. I want to have this tile. I want to have another tile next to it, and I want a part to go here, and people would be like, "Yeah, that looks normal. That looks right." You know, so I can have some wooded sections and some shrubberies. I want some shrubberies. Oh my god, how many of these kits did I get? Dude, was I just sitting there on chemo buying more and more stuff? My god. Looking for a stadium to 3D print and get it's a futuristic NFL style stadium. Nice. Yeah, my neighbor has a 3D printer. He prints a bunch of. He's a part of the 501st, the Star Wars cosplayers, and he 3D prints a bunch of like drones and helmets and stuff. They got a bunch of rules and stuff on how they need to be and everything. He went to a concert recently that had. He went to a Weird Al Yankovic concert, and the 501st were there as part of the act. So they were dressed in their, Star Wars stuff. And he got to 501st Legion. Is that what it's called? Is that the full name? I don't remember. And I guess he got to see or meet Weird Al. I think he said good things. I might be imagining it. I mean, he might have said something like, "Oh yeah, Weird Al was nice," and was like, took the time to say hi to everybody or whatever. I think that's what he said. I can't remember. My brain poop. Use poster board to make some planters, etc. Yeah. I just gotta decorate the poster board to make it look good and everything. Yeah, they're very strict. They're very strict. He tells me that. He says that they're very strict. Then they have specific rules on how they do everything. Every piece has to look authentic. And if you want to add something to your uniform, you have to ask hey, can this be basically got to be canon. You're gonna have the speaker as part of my uniform. Can we hide the speaker somewhere on my uniform? Which is very cool. Very cool little thing to have. What am I thinking of there? Nice little club. I feel like it's a club. I can maybe print and post some planters. Up to you. That'd be awesome, dude. Yeah, if you do that, I will. I'll find a way to put them together and everything. Printers are amazing for a hobby, especially at this scale. It's another hobby though. 3D printing is a second hobby, and YouTubing is also a second hobby. So it's two hobbies. It's too many hobbies. I have the Warhammer, the wargaming hobby, and then I have the making YouTubing hobby. I can't have any more hobbies. I'm hobbied out. I'm hobbied out. I didn't think painting a darker color onto a lighter color was going to be this difficult to get total coverage. I didn't think I was going to need. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine with 2 coats, but it's going to be fine. It's not going to be perfect, you know? Pop me a message or something over on Discord or something. I'll sort you out. For fishing and wild camping. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's what people would tell me to scare me. I want it really easier now, but I don't know. Winter, it's so simple to do. Yeah, it does. The technology's gotten better and everything, right? But I mean, yeah. Scott, what's you're on the Discord? You're on the Discord, right? Mortis, real. You're on here, yeah. I'll figure it out later. Oh, in streamer mode, it's only showing me other people's names. Okay, find it later. Is it just that long, or is it something else? I can't remember. I know I've seen your name. I know I've seen that you joined. I just don't remember your name. You don't have to say it. You don't say it here. You can say it on the. And it's Big Buy this Friday. Well, I guess they are a Big Buy. I don't know. I guess they're a couple $100, aren't they? Maybe loan nuts or something. Okay. Yeah, I'll say something. I'll find you. See, I always catch too much water. When I go to get water on this brush, it like as soon as it makes contact with the water, it just sucks it all up, and then it becomes a huge thing of water in there, like an ocean of water in my brush, and I only need a little bit. So I have to be careful with how I do it. And then I try really carefully, I end up getting nothing. Ginger balls. Okay. Now she should message when we share. Which we seem to be losing. We seem to be running out of steam a little bit, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm probably gonna finish this. I'm gonna run out of paint here, so I'll probably. And I got tomorrow off. I got tomorrow. Unlikely Winters is laughing at the name. I got tomorrow off, so I think the nearest paint store is going to be closed today, and not going to be open for me to get paint so that I can continue painting on my day off. So I'll probably have to start with the next color, which will be these, and then I'll do the middle section after. Anyone else wants anything printing? Dark color, electricity. Oh, what do you got for Bastion? Dude, if they can make the Bastion kit, but to scale, because that kit is very customizable. Very customizable. I did have a good 4th of July. So my daughter's friend lives nearby, and her birthday is on like the end of June. So they just do a 4th of July party. That way he doesn't have to do multiple parties. Cooks a whole bunch of food, and he's got a pool. It's an above ground pool, and a pool is a pool. And it was really hot. So we went over there for the 4th of July. We went last year too, but I just had surgery and everything, so I couldn't really enjoy anything. And I was starting chemo pretty much the next day or a few days later. So I went home. But So we went there. And I was in the pool the entire day. I hesitated a little bit to get in at first because I didn't want to be the only person getting in there. There were, of course, some kids already in there, but then I'm in, and then I didn't leave until the fireworks started. Dragged my wife in there too. We'll post up some pics tomorrow on Discord. Cool, thanks. Now, it may look like I'm painting on unprimed plastic, but I promise you, this has all been primed Mechanicum. It's the Mechanicus Standard Gray Primer. Turns out Mechanicus Standard is plastic sprue gray. They're the same color. So yeah, I had a good 4th of July. We did some fireworks and stuff. I didn't communicate much with any other adults. I talked a little bit with some other people, but then I was in the pool and they were all outside of the pool talking around the grill, and too hot, too many bugs, not for me. It was like 108 degrees. Absolutely not. No, thank you. If it wasn't the fact that the guy had a pool, I wouldn't have even been going over there. I would have stayed inside until night. Came out for fireworks then. Somewhere in here, yeah, there's two mixing bowls in there, and I'm very close to the bottom of it. Cheap automotive sprays work just as good for spraying in GW. Yeah, spray pro acrylic shark spray primer, and it tricks me. Oh yeah. No, I didn't realize it was gonna look the exact same when I started priming with it. I was like, "Ooh, I got this. Let's do that. Let's prime it with this." And I started priming. I was like, "Wait, what? Is this a uh, can't really, can't really show you. Just gonna have to take my word for it. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. Give me the music. Oh, we're down to the last, well, including this one, 7, and I am running low on paint. Let's do this real quick. Let's just take a little bit of water and let's just stop mixing it there and start mixing it here. Mix it in the jar. Pretty much going to be running this thing dry anyway. It looks so different with a wash in the past. Makes everything. Yeah, it's gonna look so much better. It all comes together in the end. I don't know if you've heard me say this before. I have pointed out that I'm not a great painter because the process that I use to get to the end is garbage. I paint like garbage, but then I get to the end and it comes out looking amazing. Or it comes out looking decent at least. That's a bit more water than I wanted. Maybe more water is what I needed. Yeah, the path is. Yeah. I know. People. I see on the internet people complaining about like how America and England or other parts of the world that also speak English. Um, uh, I see them complain about like, oh, you guys call it this, we call it this. But, dude, I get I can see both sides. I can see a path, a sidewalk. Yeah, no, that makes sense. If you said, hey, what's that on the path? I'm gonna look at the sidewalk and I'm gonna be like, oh, it's a frog or whatever, Like I'm not gonna be confused by that. Now, if we go to Australia, you might confuse me when you say, hey, look at this thong. I'm not expecting to look at the shoe. But I do know that a thong is a slipper, not slipper, flip flop. Not to rant. Too many people on the internet like whining and complaining about how other countries say things, and it's like, dude, it's what is it? Colloquialisms. Yeah, the football soccer arguments. Can we just knock that off? Like, it's back in however many years ago, communication wasn't as simple as it is. Communication is very simple these days, but 50 years ago, even it wasn't. And when one country said, "Let's call this soccer," and then other countries said, "Let's call it football," there's not a lot of back and forth going on where we are able to, like. And once you say to millions of people, "Hey, we're calling it this," it's going to be a little hard. You're going to be a little hard pressed to change that. And homemade tiles are 6 millimeter cork cardboard backing. Use 3 millimeter cork for the roads, added some detailed paths, etc. You use a Dremel to bore out some craters, cracks, etc. Super cheap. Dude, I want to see those. That sounds awesome. Yard and meter. Yard is greater than meter? Is that the greater than symbol? Yard greater than meter? Then got lazy and blasted with rattle cans to color. Yeah. Your football mainly uses your hands. I don't know why we call our football. I can't imagine calling it anything else, though. I'm definitely not calling it handball. I think once upon a time, I could be wrong here. I'm not the biggest football fan. I could be wrong, though. I'm not against the sport. And when I say football, I mean American football. At one point in time, throwing wasn't a thing. And like then somebody did it and they were like, hey refs, what do we do about this? And like the rules changed over time. So I don't know what the logic there was. Soccer. Calling soccer football is like someone describing a game they don't know the name of. American football is the length of the foot. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Except, and remember, the rest of the world calls it football, calls soccer football because that's what they call it, and they're not going to call it something else because we tell them to change it after them doing it for decades. I don't know how old that game is. I want to say hundreds of years because that sounds like how you would say something like this, but I'm pretty sure it's not hundreds of years old. It could be pretty old. It could be 100 years old. I don't know. Dang it, I just put my fingerprints right there. Touched the wrong part. Isn't soccer the game you play with your head? Doesn't make sense. Rugby is way better than American football. I mean, it's just personal. That's just personal preference, though, right? Like a lot of Americans will disagree with me, but I say paintball is the best sport. You know, uh, you know, you prefer rugby. Some people prefer football. My dad played both. Football is a term to describe soccer. It just sounds like bad pigeon English to you. Well, wasn't it named soccer because of, or am I thinking of something else? Wasn't it named soccer because of like the association for it or something? Was like the SCC or something? I'm not getting the right letters here. Like, wasn't that like why they originally called it soccer? Airsoft. See, in paintball, you're not out till it breaks. Airsoft, you're just out when you're hit, but you can't prove that you hit somebody. It's your word against theirs. Paintball, you're not out just because you're hit. You're out because it broke on you, and if it broke on you, there's your proof right there. So objectively, I'm going to start any fights here. We don't need to get political about it. This doesn't need to become a Thanksgiving dinner. Paintball better. I do like the idea that you can play airsoft. You can play airsoft as a and not have any mess to clean up. Every time I go play paintball, there's so much of a mess to clean up. So yeah. I think pool is a sport. Yeah, but I've seen too many videos of people playing airsoft and they're not honest. If honesty, if everyone was on, if people were honest in sports, then you wouldn't have refs. I also don't like, and this has nothing to do with the sport, right? This has nothing to do with the game. People have tried to tell me airsoft is better because the guns are more realistic. It's like, dude, but show me a magazine that holds 500 rounds, because you could do that in airsoft, which isn't an attack against. It doesn't really prove that the game's not that good. It's just like I don't like that argument. I don't like that comeback or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think pool is a sport though. Yeah, why wouldn't it be? Most here are honest and play the game. It's the kids that spoil it. Yeah. You know what? I used to love laser tag, and I went back to my hometown and tried playing laser tag, and all the kids were, oh yeah, it wasn't even kids. All these adults were flipping around and stuff and trying to make sure your lasers couldn't hit them. I was so mad. I was like, this is, you guys ruined this. You guys ruined this. You can still have the low cap mags and stuff for your historical recreation games and stuff, but there's other people that don't. I guess you can't do that with paintball though. You can do it with airsoft. That doesn't mean it's always the case with airsoft. I'm not saying it's bad. I just prefer paintball. And obviously, there's cheaters in paintball too. Because again, if there weren't, you wouldn't need refs. All right. If there's anybody new in the chats right now, where are you from? What are you doing? Who are you? What are you painting? You're painting something, right? You're not here for the riveting paintball versus airsoft conversation, nor are you here for the soccer versus football conversation, or the argument that we need to just, not the argument, the discussion that we need to just stop complaining about what other people call their sports. Let people be happy. Come on. So yeah, what are you painting? And if you haven't, please hit that thumbs up. Woods ball is the best paintball. Woods ball is the best paintball. I love Scenario, which goes hand in hand with woods ball. It doesn't translate. No, it doesn't translate to television well. I did at one point try to set up my rig so that I could film it, and I had filmed myself playing paintball, but I never got the system down right, and it's very hard to like film what you're shooting at and everything. Like it doesn't. You end up filming a lot of like it's just empty woods. What are you looking at? Woods ball is paintball in the woods. If you watch paintball on TV, you probably see these air bunkers that look like Dorito chips or car washes or whatever. Big inflatables, right? or you might see hyperball where it's these big like tubes and pipes, like for industrial waterworks and stuff. Woods ball is when you go into the trees and you're using it's played in the woods, but or maybe there's a field alongside it too. But you've got what is it called? You might have some forts built in the woods too, or in the field. It could be woods ball can be played in the field, as part of the woods typically, but it's typically woods. I love the. Where do you play paintball? Because are you from Virginia, or was that the other guy? Was that somebody else? Because there's a place up in I was saying this earlier. There's a place up in Leesburg, Hogback Mountain, is where I played paintball. They do scenario games every now and again, and I love some scenario game paintball. They'll do like a 2-day event. Yeah, I need to get my knees better. My knees are very busted up from the chemo. They got weak. They got weak and recover properly. Yeah. Did I say I called it speedball, right? Or did I say air bunker? They're called air bunkers. Some people call it airball, I think, but it's speedball. Right now, dusting off your OPR army. Everybody staying a few days. 40K is a bit much more. Few casual, easy games will fill some time nicely. What's OPR? When I was a kid, we played in the backyard and just stood 20 feet from each other and shot. Most of us had no hoppers and pump shots. Yeah. We did that once. Cops were called on us to tell us to stop doing that. We did that on my birthday. What was it? Like an Eagle or something? I don't know. We had these little pump things with CO2 canister instead of a proper. And I think we had hoppers, but instead of a proper air tank or anything. 1-page rules. Oh right, I think you were telling me about that, or somebody was telling me about that. I've heard the term before. I just forgot what it was. I'm really kind of hoping that I need to check. I'm really hoping that that's still. No, they're going to be closing in a minute anyway. I'm never going to get there in time. I think I'm going to run out of paint before I finish the second coat on everything. I don't know if there's a new name for it. When you first started using air bunkers, it was called speedball. Yeah, it's still called speedball. No, there was a field I went to. I think what I'm getting the term confused on is there was a place in Leesburg. I can't remember its name, but they had speedball and they had hyperball, and one was the air bunkers. And one was these like weird. I want to call them like pipes and stuff, right? Kind of the same thing, but they called the speed. They're both technically speedball, and then one is hyperball and one is airball. The air bunkers was airball, and then the other field was hyperball. But I think it's the same thing. I think it's like breaking into further distinctions. It's speedball, but they're breaking it into further distinctions. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Or maybe that was a local thing. I don't know. The place closed down. I tried to take this on a date there, and they were closed. So then we went to the other place that was also in Leesburg. I don't know of an archery version. Oh no, I think I've heard of something like that. Great start for people to see your minis and go, ooh, but their eyes glaze when you start talking about turn phases. So OPR is more you go, me go friendly. Get them to 40 later. Yeah, I get that. I'm trying to, I need to go to the store and take 2 armies and get somebody else to play with me and trick them into starting Legions Imperialis. And it's like, oof, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to go over all these rules. How much of the rules do I need to tell you about? How much of this can I skim? Here's some good idea, but it's more than one page, right? Amp guard? What's amp guard? Amp guard uses bows and arrows. Oh, okay. Oh, I have a friend. Works at or is technically an owner at Rules of Engagement where I play against John, and he's apparently into. He doesn't like it when I call it LARPing. He doesn't like it when it's called LARPing. He does he wears the plate mail and everything and swings swords at each other. Not as LARPers, but as like competition, like actually beat the crap out of each other. Like you need real armor, not not throwing beanbags at each other and saying lightning bolt. My buddies are willing to try out Kill Team, but I have to paint all the Kill Team terrain. I want to put Kill Team on this channel. I need to finish painting. I need to paint up my army. Zilla needs to paint up his Necrons. Star will paint up some Tyranids. Star sees the monsters in movies. She sees the little gremlin things, the monsters, and all the things that want to eat you. And she goes, "Oh, they're so cute." And it's like, "Oh my god, you're supposed to be the loyalist. You're supposed to destroy the enemies of mankind, not join them." She was the chosen one. Is OPR a single game, or is it like multiple games that are just converted into a one page of rules for said models? The trailer for OPR is pretty cool, but we just don't like it works to make an army. OPR is a door you see in the park with foam swords and tennis balls and fireballs. Yeah, no, this dude's not doing amp guard. This dude is doing like somebody broke their ribs because they were. This dude is doing like the MMA version of Dungeons and Dragons. The Dungeons and Dragons version of MMA. The guy that broke his ribs apparently didn't listen when they said, "Hey, you really should probably have actual armor instead of something." Or I don't know how the story goes. Don't quote me on that. He was telling me something and I forget. It's okay out, blackout. I'm gonna try. It's amazing. Which I've seen videos of. Seen videos of people doing the swords like legit competition stuff. And in the video I had watched, I think it was a documentary or it was like a YouTube or something. But it had this couple on it, and they were like, "Yeah, we legally changed our name to Ironside." And it's like, oh, just completely copying off of Bjorn Ironside, huh? Didn't come up with something original, huh? Didn't decide that you wanted to make a name, make your own name make your name into something, uh, something people remember. You decided you wanted to be remembered with somebody else's name. Kind of. Anyway, never watched another video of that because it's kind of. I really got hung up on them changing their name thing, I guess. The SCA is the Society of Creative Anachronism, which is all medieval festivals where real knights do combat. That's cool. And you also use space wolves to make. Dude, it's gonna be cool to be in like Europe and stuff where you've got all these like castles and knight stuff. Like, oh, let's go watch the historic knight fight and everything where they fight for real and stuff and jousting and things. Here in America, our version of that is Civil War reenactments, and it's kind of like, oh, you mean you want to be on that side? You need a toast rack to stand those tiles out. I probably do. I also need more of this paint. I ordered by 6 p.m. Amazon can have it here tomorrow. I've never seen K1. What is K1? Good for doing sprees too. Yeah. I think this is going to be the last one I'm able to give a second coat to. I still got 3 more. I think I'm running out. I'm very much running out. It's not even a think anymore. The question is, do I have another vial of this medieval MMA from Russia? That's cool. Oh man, there's a little bit left in here. I don't even think I'm gonna finish this one. I'm out. Maybe a little bit more down there. This little lip that's in the bottle is kind of in the way of me getting to some of the paint. I feel like this is more road. You know, I have the 40K version of these, and I didn't paint them the same at all. I think I did a completely different color pattern on them, and I'm wondering that I'm feeling a little nervous now that I don't. That I'm. What if I don't like it? Yeah, I think that's what I've seen. I mean, people. I assume people can get hurt. I assume it's brutal. I don't have pigment powers. Might be worth investing in. I have a toolbox of a bunch of paints that somebody gave me when they quit the hobby, and maybe I've got some more. Maybe I've got some more Eshing gray in it. Maybe I don't. So let's give it a check and see if. Let's give it a check and see what we got in here. I should probably write down all the things that are in it. I assume one day I'll actually spend all of these extra paints. Oh, and then I've got this. Oh my god. I just recently bought by Belcher. got more of it here. Is that? No. Not in there. Let's see if we got it in here. Here. 3.5 tiles away from finishing. And I run out of paint. I got more Mechanicum Standard Gray. Unfortunately, that's not what we need. Is that another thing of Belcher? No, Vulcan Metal, which I think was replaced by Red Belcher. Oh, more Nolan Oil. That's yellow. Maybe now. 10 bits. They don't make that one anymore. I'm on black. I can try to mix a bunch of Abaddon Black and Mechanicum Standard Gray and see what I get. Well, guys, I ran out of the paint I was using. 3.5 tiles away from finishing. Thankfully, it's like 3 hours after we started the stream, so it's not like I have to end the stream early. If anything, the stream has been going on extra long. We got an extra long stream today. Let's see. I got a few paints up on top of my shelf. Maybe I've got something up there. But I don't think so. Black Legion. A bunch of other colors that aren't even dark. Oh, wait. Nope, that's Necron Compound. What else we got? All right, I got a box. I got a box over here that I keep the paints that have dried up and gone bad for my kids in case they want to paint. This occasionally happens. And let's see how that's looking. Maybe I've got one in there. Another Mechanicus Standard Gray. I've got Mechanicus Standard Gray all over the place. I have Ash and Gray. I have 2 Ash and Gray still. One of them might work. These might be dried up. Maybe one of them works. Is that a blue Imperial Bastion on a blue hill? Huh? This? It is a massive Imperial Bastion. It is 8 kits of Imperial Bastion, kit Bastion together. Wooden things are awesome. Here, let me. I had my candy up here. There's a little door there and a little thing. You can't really see it. I'll do a better thing of this at some point. And then it kind of repeats. So it's got this bit over here on the other side also. I built this back when True Line of Sight mattered in 40K. And I had an Imperial Knight. And I wanted I had an Imperial Knight, and I wanted it to be able to take cover on the table. Yeah, there's 8 of them in there. Some pieces I needed more of than others. I think I needed more of this stuff than I did of other stuff. But I primed it, and I never finished it. But I needed a piece of cover that my knight that this Imperial Knight could hide behind, because Otherwise, it was just always visible to everything in the game because nobody's terrain was ever big enough. So yeah. Let me catch up on these real quick and see what we got. We got two. We got two new paints. We're gonna see. One of them might work. They might both be dead. I would have done the roads more of a tarmac asphalt style. Yeah, I realized that after the fact. I don't know. I don't know what color I should have done them. Don't have to worry much about painting an even coat after a wash, at least in my opinion. You can make your own pigment powders using artist pastels. Well, that's so fun. Vallejo makes a really nice asphalt texture paint. Well, it's kind of already textured, so I didn't want to have it textured again, you know? And a blade to scrape the pastels into a powder. Okay. Within seeing it also do an asphalt and a concrete paint that is awesome. Makes good mud, dirt mud, everything. Shut stuff out. I'm doing COs. Okay. I've not seen tin bits for years. Yeah, no, they stopped making tin bits. I used to use it for all my meltas. I think it's now. I think it's replaced with. I think it's replaced with like. I don't think it's as good as it, but I think it's replaced with Warp Block Bronze. It's kind of similar in color. I don't know why they got rid of tin bits though. Man, why does UW put so many wraps on models? On them for 1 hour. Uh-huh. Let's go. I built my chapel stronghold from 9 kits and it's a 2x2 and 3.5 tall. I want to see pictures of that. I love big line of sight blocking terrain and fortifications. My only regret with this is these ones have the ones here have the ports on the sides, and these don't. And really, what I should have done is I should have had the ports all be the same level instead of being the same side or the same half, the same part of the side. I should have had it been aligned to the level. All right, so moment of truth. Is one of these going to work? Or are they both dried up and completely useless? This one's completely empty and dried up. And this one is also completely dried up. Get anything out of this? Come on. Nope. Nope. Brush is completely clean. Brush is completely clean. All right. I don't even know why I kept those. Kept them in case my kids wanted to use them, but they were too dried up. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have to go to the store and get more paint to do this so I can finish these last 3 pieces. And then I'm probably never using that paint again. I don't think I need to worry about that. I can. No, it didn't work. There was nothing. It needs a little bit. You know what I can do though? All right, so the sidewalk's going to go from this color to a lighter color, right? I can put the brown down, but we've actually already been filming for 3.5 hours. So what we're going to do is I'm going to end this so I can start working, so that I can grab the rest of the family and we can start working on that big battle over there. Let me show you what we're working with here. Put stuff up on your other YouTube. You can put a few more hours into it and put some pics. Serviceable but isn't finished being painted. Awesome, yeah. Just I need the link for that. That's what I need. So yeah, so here's what we got going on for this guy. Oh, speaking of that big blue bastion, it essentially looks like this guy here, where it's got that side there and that side here. Right? So the side's there, and then there's an entrance, and there's an entrance, and then I got the big tower thing. The only difference is It's got fire imports and stuff, and this says Windows. It's got a bunch of guns, and this says Windows. Yeah. So I put the Medusas over there. I had to combine the Basilisks up. We're gonna hit them hard. We're gonna be on first fire. We're gonna march that guy up. I gave him the turbo lasers instead of the plasma blast guns. Give him a bit more range, and he's got to be real close. I gotta conserve my strength here because if I go too hard, if we get too caught up in all this, they are going to wipe me out. And I got 3 games. That guy has to survive. These guys have to survive for 3 games. All of those things, they'll all come back. They'll get reinforcements. My infantry, I'll get those back. But the transports that get the infantry to the front lines, those are going to be a one-time deal. They die. I don't get them the next game. I'm going to keep these alive. I got to keep those alive. The aircraft too, same thing. It's only going to be the infantry, and it's only going to be this stuff. These guys, these rapiers. So I'm in these buildings so I can try to keep them. They can't just get in there right away. They have to fight me for them. And then that's the second objective. That'll be game 2. They got to get for that. I'm real close. So I think they're going to take these buildings from me and I have to take them back. But I think if I hammer this guy, I hit him with the star hits him with the basilisks, and then I hit him with a volcano cannon. And then I really don't know what is going to be a good target for the Vanquisher cannons. I guess their Vanquisher cannons, maybe. But that's probably going to be the first target because that's 1 unit of 8 Vanquisher cannons. But Void Shields, not worth shooting. These guys, they got the Ion Shields. I mean, it's not the best target. But and then it's a bunch of Walkers, and the Walkers don't care about Partner Bane, So we got to be careful. I don't know if hopefully Star's up for this because she's going to be the one in charge of the tanks. But I don't think she hasn't fought any Walkers before. She's fought a lot of tanks, and there are quite a few tanks on this table. So she'll have to destroy those. All those infantry guys are in there. Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right, so I'm going to bring us back over here. A little peek at my room. I wasn't able to see anything you guys were saying while that was going on. But yeah, nice and great acrylic art. Why is he always using the one stuff on it? Okay. What's your channel? If Eagle asks, I'll hop on it and say hi. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and hop on your other channel and say hi. And then we'll click over there. Something fast. This is no. There's the Everything I Got video, and that is we did everything we had back in January. This is Everything We Got part again, but this time with a different mission and respawns. So it's Everything We Got plus, and there's more stuff. There's more stuff in this video than there were the last time because we finished. Let's see. There's now the Arvis Lighters. There's the Warlord Sinister. There's the. I don't know if the Direwolf is new. I don't remember that was in the last video. I think. And the 8 more Layman Russes, but also the Shadow Swords. So all that's new to the video. Foxhole Games, dude, I like that game. Have you played that game? I don't know how to open that in a new tab. Cool. And thank you for asking. For permission. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. It's going to be a big battle. It's going to be really good. It's going to be a meat grinder. Me and Star, our biggest strength in this battle is going to be that we have the longer range stuff. We have the Titans. We have the bigger things, and we have the experience. We have more experience than the other two, but they have proximity, just sheer raw numbers. If I kill their Warhound turn 1, that doesn't matter because they're going to get another one in 4 more turns, in 5 more turns. They're going to get 2 more Warhound. They're going to get a new Warhound for us to kill. And in the first game, it's going to be real easy to kill whatever we want. But any casualties we take outside of our infantry and our sentinels, any casualties we take going to not come back, and we're going to be a little bit weaker the next time and a little bit weaker the third time. So we got to be careful. We got to be careful. And they're right up next to, they're like 2 turns away from just washing over our front line, and that could be dangerous too. So hopefully they don't watch this and figure out how to play against us. But they've got almost as much solar auxiliary infantry as us, and then they have all the mechanicum infantry. They have as many mechanicum infantry boxes as we have, solar auxiliary infantry boxes. Mechanicum infantry is just better, and then they also have the 2 solar auxiliary boxes. So it's going to be a wild match. It's 3 times the infantry boxes waiting to be built for LI. How many infantry is too many? I mean, 3 is a pretty good number. I'm thinking I want 2 more infantry boxes. I'm thinking I want 2 more infantry boxes, maybe even 3. 6 infantry boxes for Legions Imperialis. You need 5 infantry boxes if you want to run the special formation. I don't remember which one it's called. And then you need a 6th one if you want to run the other formation. So you need quite a bit. If I'd like to have. I wish I had 2 more boxes of infantry on that table right now. You're veteran who plays war games. You don't play the game possible. You use air assault infantry forward observer. You did that stuff for real. So you only play versus zombies now. Dark Tide is great fun. I like Dark Tide. We should play that sometime. I forget. You said you don't like Discord, so we can't play on Discord. Fast stack box is nice. You might want a second fast stack box for. Is he doing the Space Marines? So he has the Space Marine infantry boxes. 3 is a good start. 4 would be a good number. I think for Space Marines. You could go more. If you get 4, that means that you can have an 8-man assault squad. And assault squads are good, but don't expect them to win melee against just anything. Don't expect them to charge solar auxiliary Vellatari Axemen or whatever. I think they're just called Vellatari. Don't expect them to win a fight against them. Don't expect them to win a fight against Ogren. You can use them to clear out buildings that have taken some casualties, and you can use them for. Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. And if we got a Discord too, if you want to go on that. And I post the list up on Patreon. I'll probably post the casualties on Patreon too for this one. I had an idea of something else I wanted to post on it, but I can't remember what it is. But see you later. I do Dark Tide every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's a bit late for me because I go to work so early in the morning, and I'm not Pacific. I'm Eastern. And Thursdays I do D&D. But yeah, unlikely. Oh, that's right. His name is Unlikely. What do you mean? See you later? Unlikely. That doesn't mean. Yeah. So I think 4 for Space Marines is a good number. It lets you build 8 Terminators. It lets you build 8 Assault Marines. It lets you build so Assault Marines and Terminators are going to be more harassment than anything. They're not charging a building and clearing a building full of people, just because of how buildings work. If it's a building that has a couple of people left in it because you already killed them, they'll do a lot better. If they'll charge into enemy artillery and do a good job. Yeah. I figured that out. At first I was confused. They'll charge into tanks and do all right. Some tanks are a bit heftier than others. But if you charge into a tank that's on first fire, it doesn't get to first fire anymore. It might have to overwatch you, and you might lose people when it overwatches you. But probably better that a bunch of tanks a bunch of tanks, a bunch of shadow swords overwatch your assault marines, then shoot first fire into your Kratos or something. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, we can play Darktide sometime when you're not live. Some other day of the week. Yeah, bikes and speeders are rough. My John uses them, and he hasn't had much luck with them. You need to use the one that has the point defense. That one's going to be good against infantry, and then the other ones, you got to get them into the rear arc. So they're flank, they're meant to flank. They outflank. They come in behind. You got to get those rear shots into the tanks because a bunch of your shots. So the javelin squadron has the las cannon, and that is anti-tank, which AP -1, but it's only one shot. And against solar auxiliary tanks, you really want to get AP2, so you need those rear shots. The Cyclone missile launcher will do a fantastic job of clearing out infantry in a building, or even just infantry. You'll need a lot of them to try to get rid of a whole thing. You're only hitting half your shots, but solar auxiliary is probably not saving any shots against those. The land speeders, real short range with that multi-melta, but you get it behind them. You get up close and or behind them where they can't return fire, and this is where outflanking becomes very important. And you're going to be able to take things out. And the skimmer rule lets you. Well, you're probably not going to be able to use the multi-melta for skimmer because again, it's a 6-inch range. And then the Outrider, 8-inch range. I mean, it's rough, man. These things are not very they're not the most punchy thing in the game. So you need quite a few of them, and then you need to be careful with how you place them, because I always I'll look at them and I just pick them up. I wipe them off the board, but my opponent's not always using them the best way, he wants Thunderhawks and Fire Raptors next, and Xiphon. Thunderhawks are good. Fire Raptors are kind of, if you like something, play it, is the way I say, the way I go, especially if he's playing against you. Like, a lot of these numbers and stuff are very oh yeah, this is better. This is clearly better than that. And it's it's percentages better. This dies easy. It all dies easy. So if it's not the best unit in the game, it's not the end of the world, because they're all kind of good. The Fire Raptor has a lot of guns to it. And you have to pick between the heavy bolters, the las cannons, or the autocannons. And let's see, it's those three then. They're all kind of different use, but then you probably the las cannons or I'd go las cannons or the heavy bolters. Heavy bolters if you want this thing to fly in and shoot a bunch of people up. The las cannons are probably better if you want to use this thing as an actual tank hunter. And then the Thunderhawk is good though. Thunderhawk and a bunch of assault marines that jump out of it. That's a good play, because then you drop them off in the back lines. And so if he's picking things that he thinks are cool, just keep picking things that he thinks are cool. Xiphons are nice and cheap. The problem with all aircraft is they're competing against the Marauder, and the Marauder is just too good for how much you pay for it. I think Marauders probably need to go up a little bit in points, and all other aircraft need to go down a little bit. But he doesn't have to worry about that unless you're bringing Marauders. 6 Land Speeder Typhoons, 48 inches with heavy bolters, 36 with with 10 Black Knights, 3x3 Red Wing bikes, and 2 Nephilim jets with last cannons. That's on 40k though. In 40k, your bikes and speeders, you make a bubble and you stay at max range. You use your bikes to screen, kite the enemy till turn 4, and you use your speed to cover objectives on the board. Yeah. The Marauder Bomber is... So the Marauder Bomber has the same number of bombs, the same number of missiles as, or ports. It has the same number of weapon ports for your missiles and your bombs as the Lightning Avenger, or the Lightning Fighter. Not the Avenger. Which is good. The Lightning Fighter has las cannons. The Marauder Bomber has a mixture of assault cannons or maybe las cannons and auto cannons or something, right? But it also has a bomb bay, and that makes it a bomber, and it's able to drop bombs on things. It can also have more bombs with the wing bombs, or it can have missiles with the wing. You know, the wing bombs don't have to be wing bombs; they can be missiles. And it costs the same amount as the Lightning Fighter, and it has an extra wound. So it's really good because it's a lot more durable with that extra wound, and it's got the exact same firepower as the thing that costs the exact same amount as it. So it's just really good. And the Lightning Fighter is better than... It has 30-inch range on its missiles, so you can just take out, like, most things that are trying to shoot at it. It doesn't have to go into range of. And that combination's pretty powerful. And then you look at the Marauder Bomber, and it's the same thing but better. The Lightning Fighter has 2 las cannon shots, and the Marauder Bomber has it also had... The standard one has 2 las cannon shots and some heavy bolters, which aren't that good. But if you're going to use the bombs, then yeah, you can make use of it. So yeah, it's just the fact that it's the same cost. It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. It should be a little bit more expensive. Or the other should be a little cheaper. Like, there should be a difference. He's picking things. He's put a lot of las cannons on his tanks. Some of his tanks he's going to want to have heavy bolters. Some of your tanks you want heavy bolters so that you can point defense when you move up. Especially if it already has some heavy bolters, give it more heavy bolter. If it just comes with heavy bolters, giving it more heavy bolters is good. If you know it's a tank that you want moving up the board, it's good to do that. If you don't give some of your tanks heavy bolters, you need other things to do the job of those heavy to replace them. So if he's using speeders and outriders and things like that, that can be a place that can be an exchange for those heavy bolts. And, if he's using a bunch of las cannons and he's got the speeders, that makes sense. What would that tactic not also work in Titanicus for bikes and speeders? It would. It's just the bikes die easy, and heavy bolters have like a 12-inch range, which there's a bunch of things in the game that can only charge 10 inches. The Mechanicum stuff can charge 14 inches. Or some of the Mechanicum stuff can charge 14 inches. So it's harder to screen with the bikes. But you could make good use of it. I wonder if my opponent's problem with his bikes and speeders is that he's not taking enough of them, or if he's just using them in the wrong way. I did in my last game shoot them with a bunch of missiles from a Titan, so maybe them dying shouldn't have been a surprise to us. Right, so I don't want to take them as a destroy. You'll definitely destroy him if he doesn't have enough AA. If he takes enough AA, it won't matter, but he'll need, to kill a... Let's do the math real quick. To kill a Marauder... how do I do this? To kill a Marauder Bomber with a Sicarian... That is not. Which one was it? The Arcus? Sicarian Arcus has the Skyfire tracking Arcus missile launcher at 20 inches. So what he has to do to kill it is he needs he needs 3 of them. He needs 3 Sicarian Arcuses shooting at your single Marauder bomber to kill it. And before he gets a chance to do that, your Marauder bomber gets to drop its bombs, because that gun, unless he is already positioned where he's in range, and then he has to overwatch, which will lower the number. Like, he'll need more. I think probably double to kill you. To do the 2 wounds to kill you, he'll need 6 of them to do that. And he has to already be in range to first fire you before you get a chance to drop your bomb. So mostly he's going to be doing a reaction shot, and your Marauder Colossus is doing more than 85 points of damage to him. Or just don't take the Marauder Colossus. Take one of the Marauder Bomber, which, I mean, still is good. It's just the Marauder Colossus is a, like, you drop the Colossus bomb and you don't get it anymore, and that's how you get all your points back right there, and you don't have to worry about it ever again. You want to keep your games pretty fair. Yeah, I'd say just get a box of Xiphons and a box of Lightnings, and now you each have 6 flyers, and you can break them into 3 different units. Each of you break them into 3 units. You'll bring your flyers on, he brings his flyers on. You bring flyers on to fight his flyers. He brings flyers on to fight your flyer. Like, you'll both go back and forth on that a little bit, and then somebody will win the air war, and then that's how you then they'll have an advantage for the rest of the game, as they've got all the aircraft, unless of course you guys have enough stuff that's able to shoot at them. 40 inches in 40k. Missiles are 20 inches in Legions Imperialis. Everything's smaller. Everything's shrunk down and zoomed out. Fast movement. Get in front of bigger stuff like tanks. Put pressure on the enemy. You don't want to, because tanks can't shoot behind them in Legions Imperialis typically. And there is a bonus to shooting into their rear arc. You want to get in behind them with some of this stuff, especially like Solar Auxiliary tanks have a 2-up armor save, and las cannons have an AP of 1. So getting behind them for that extra AP is big, because you need 3 las cannons. You need to wound with 3 las cannons just to kill a super heavy. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the aircraft for a while. Focus on building up your infantry and getting some in your tanks and stuff, and then you can deal with aircraft later. Yeah. You want a good screen of things to take care of aircraft, though. Like, you want your own aircraft to take out the enemy's aircraft, and you want some ground forces to take out aircraft. And that way you can win the air war, and then your aircraft can switch from killing aircraft to harassing the ground. And I think it's hard to balance. It's hard to have that balance, because Solar Auxiliary wins the air war through aircraft. Space Marines do have some ability to remove. It's not the best. It's not going to stop. It can't stop bombers everywhere at all the times. But if you plan for it, you can do it. But Solar Auxiliary, they don't have any ground units that have tracking or Skyfire, so they just have to rely on sheer volume. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, this has been Eagle Spire Gaming. We'll have that battle report eventually. I haven't filmed it yet. I will get back to painting these after I get more paint. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the action. Hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. And join us on Patreon to see for free to see the lists. And you get a chance to comment and stuff and tell me what you want to see next. And I will take that. That comes into consideration first. I will see you all next time. This has been Eagle Spire Gaming. I've been Crown. You've been awesome. Thanks for flying by.